Grab your beverages and turn up your interweb. Solving the world's problems 12 ounces at a time. It's Dudes and Beer.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 147 of the Dudes and Beer podcast, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, and Austin, Texas. We are bilocating this evening. Once again, my ghostly visage is in the cave, the Dudes and Beer cave there in Austin. We have Julie on the line with us via Skype.
Up?
Steven will be joining us shortly. So yeah, welcome everybody. I've right now in my hotel room, I've got the State of the Union address on mute with the subtitles, so we can
I meant to pull that up.
kind of see what's going on in the world around us, because that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Before we get into that, though, I really want to talk about that opening salvo that I do every single show since the beginning, and that is the beer crack. The tap and crack of the beer, getting it open, getting it ready, and I want to do a huge on-air shout-out to our now longtime sponsor, Hops and Grain. They do so much for us on social media. We return the favors. They provide beer for the studio on a regular basis for the guests and for us to enjoy, to lubricate the conversation and to keep things going. I presently, even here in Houston, myself have a fantastic River Lager that I'm enjoying, one of their latest brews. And I've got a Zoe lined up in the background. I know we've got some
Porter culture here.
Yeah, we've got the porter culture going on in the Austin studio as well as some Zoe. So once again, thank you so much to Hops and Grain Brewing at Austin, Texas. They're right up off 7th Street. Everybody, go check them out. They have some of the best brews in town. It's absolutely amazing. They put on some great music, everything else. So go check them out, everybody. Hops and Grain, thank you so much from Dudes and Beer. And as I drink my my beautiful river beer, we have senators and all these good people kind of milling around. They've still yet to get to anything on the presidential stuff. It's kind of like getting ready for the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, it'll be at 8 o'clock.
Well,
and then he talks for like 10 minutes. You know, it's like a 10-minute address, and like the rest of it is pregame coverage.
At least it won't be like 4 hours and a million commercials like the Super Bowl. Not that I'm not excited. Go Pats.
You know what's funny is, and we should totally do a Super Bowl thing. We should.
I'm going to be at Leslie's house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, I love the commercials of the Super Bowl. That's half the reason I watch it, is the commercials and the halftime production. I don't necessarily care about the artist that's playing, but the
production is amazing. When I was there last year, I think I sent you the pictures. It took like 600 pictures and videos of how quickly they set up and tear down that stage. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, they rehearse it for a week, and like I know people that were working the Super Bowl. I have a good friend of mine, hey, Kelly Kasperick. He's out working the Super Bowl in Minnesota as we speak, getting things ready. I believe that's where it is, isn't it, in Minnesota this year?
Yeah.
But yeah. It's the question coming in to this episode is the digitization of society and how society has changed. Just in our lifetimes, Julie. You're shortly under me in age, and
they're very important years.
They are. They are.
I'm not 40 yet.
No, that's right. That's right. We'll just say that. We'll keep it at that, everybody. She's not 40 yet.
Yet. I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the State of the Union was buzzing.
Oh, State of the Union is buzzing. What's it saying?
I don't know.
There's
I don't
people
have the
hugging.
subtitles on it. Yeah, he
Minority.
just
Oh,
walked
yeah,
in
he's walking through the crowd now. He's making
with
his
the
way
blue
up.
tie. You're not fooling
Yeah.
anybody with your blue tie
Well,
there, buddy.
I found that so interesting, and I pointed it out numerous times during the election.
Yeah, they
Uh,
kind of switched tie colors.
Everybody did. Like
Yeah.
Hillary wore red most of the time, and it
Mhm.
was like, like I don't know, as somebody who studied subliminal psychology and stuff like that for years,
It has to be that
it
they're
was one of
like,
those
oh
like,
yeah, this is
dude, don't tell me this is like, totally unintentional.
No, there's like 12 people out there who respond better to it, thinking like, oh, maybe they're closer to our side than we would have thought because he's wearing a blue tie. Like, no,
Yeah.
he's not.
No.
He's just wearing a blue tie because he's got, I think, blue eyes under there.
That's the executive color.
Oh,
of
Melania
power.
looks pretty.
That's the executive color of power. If you
Remember when it used to be red?
like, yeah. But remember the cornflower blue tie? And
I'm wearing a
Office
cornflower
Space?
blue dress to Sonia's wedding in April. That's
nice.
Is that the power color for a bridesmaid?
Yeah, right. That's the power color.
Like, yeah, I got this. Look at my cornflower blue dress.
Yeah. And it sure does look good on camera too.
Yes, which is why they picked it.
As opposed to red on white, which can tend to bleed sometimes.
Yep. And it just looks like stark, and it doesn't really go with people's coloring. Like, blue it's a good choice. He still looks like an orange weirdo, but it is a good choice.
Well, that's just it. I think the red would really accentuate that.
Probably so.
I try and stay away from a lot of harsh reds, being a redhead with freckles, because it tends to accentuate that.
But your baby looks adorable in orange, which I was so surprised at.
He looks pretty much adorable in anything.
I know, of course he does, but he was wearing orange one of the times I saw him recently, and I was like, how does that work on him? And Amy was like, I don't know, it just does. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, he does look adorable and everything. You can't really color shame a baby. He's just cute, but...
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, baby? Pull it together. Accessorize better. No, he's fine. I should find one of these that has subtitles probably, huh? Since I'm just watching it on mute.
Yes, exactly.
Might be better this way, though. Just to not know.
My delicious river beer just tried to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, no fault of its own. It was mine. I totally took that down the wrong way. So, yeah.
Remember when I was in the Phoenix airport and I did that, and everybody thought I was sick, and they gave me these dirty looks, and all moved away from me, and it's like, well, this works out well.
Yeah.
Now I have
swallow my
space.
beer wrong more. One of my favorite things about leaving Austin Bergstrom is you can actually go get freshly canned beer at Salt Lick.
That is was it you who were telling me, or Amy? Somebody was telling me that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you go up, and anything that they have on tap, you can get in a little crowler. It's a little, a little pounder, and they can it right there and write the name of it on for you, and you can just take it right on the plane with you. It's great.
That is pretty cool.
It's a beautiful
best way to travel. So much cheaper than the $5 or $10 that little tiny nip of disgusting liquor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's like $11 or something like that is what I paid. So,
but we'll get you through a short flight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's enough for me to enjoy a drink and then, pass out watching my movie like I always
take a nap. I know, that's the thing. Like, I talk a good game, but I'm asleep before the plane ever takes off, and then I wake up as it's landing. I'm a plane sleeper.
I have on my tablet movies timed out to the lengths of my flights because I make the regular trips to regular places. But oddly enough, the movie Casino, from the time you start taxiing in Austin to the time you land, if you hit play, the credits will be like right at the end by the time you're taxiing in Vegas.
Oh, that's good to know. I'll be there in
almost the exact
couple of days.
So that's whenever I travel to Vegas, that's normally the movie I'm watching because I just love the way it times out. Like it ends right as I arrive in Vegas.
Get you in the spirit.
Yeah. It's Good stuff. So yeah, the president has started speaking here. I guess
Yep.
the closed captioning hadn't quite caught up.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna have to find one with closed captioning because the one that I found is not doing me any favors.
okay, achieved extraordinary success is where it started, but of
Just gonna take a
course,
sip.
yeah. So we aren't going to completely cover all that tonight, folks. I expect it. I really consider this, like I was telling Amy. She was like, "Oh, how often does this happen?" I was like, "A couple times a year." Like it's basically like a fiscal statement. You know, it's like the board of directors sending you a letter saying, "Okay, so here's how we did last quarter."
Isn't
You
it
know.
just annual?
Yeah, yeah. It's at the beginning. It's at the end of January every year.
Yeah.
But it's basically about the finances of the country and stuff like that, and what we're trying to do with laws, and yeah, still a bunch of rhetoric, you know,
Yeah, of course.
pretty much.
Nope.
Uh, oh, Coast Guard officer present.
Of course.
Thank you for your service. So, uh, talking about the digitization of society, I mean, did you grow up with computers in your house, Julie?
I did, yeah. When I was in fifth or sixth grade, I think we got our first computer. So basically, not as young as the kids now, but
Okay.
for our era, I was one of the early adopters for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely had a computer by the time I was about 10, something like
Yeah.
that. We had a computer at the house.
I think
Um,
Erin had to have one because of Montrose, since she would have been in sixth grade, so I would have been in fourth grade when we got it.
okay, okay. Yeah, and I mean, it just for me seeing the progression of that, like ours, I remember our first one was a Commodore 64,
I don't remember
and
what
it's
ours was, but
still
it was a box with like
I'm
green.
I'm pretty sure it's still in my mom's garage, along with our Apple IIe system. Uh, so, like we had those, and it was a different kind of technological world, you know.
Right. You had to
Uh,
know a lot more of like coding and stuff just to be able to do anything.
yeah, yeah, and there wasn't a whole lot of like, hey, let's just hop on and play a game. Like there were gaming
Right.
consoles, but it was like Atari and stuff like that, which
Well, I remember I
were
had like
utterly
Family
enthralling.
Feud on floppy disk, but it
Hmm.
took like 30 minutes to get it to go, and then the game itself took forever. Like, yeah,
It
you didn't
it
just sit
made
down and play a
awful,
game. It
horrible
was like,
sounds
yeah.
while
But I still
it
played it all the
played.
time because I remember like sex was the answer to one of them. And when
Yeah.
you're like fifth grade, that's just the best thing in the
Ah.
world. So I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
play it until I got to that one and be like, ha ha ha, sex.
yeah.
And then that was it. Because I was mature.
Yeah, and by the time I hit high school, I remember having games on the computer. Games like Prince of Persia, things that got picked up later on as major titles in PlayStation
Hmm.
and Xbox world, stuff like that. Um, and even in college, going through, and that's when uh, bulletin board systems basically stopped, and AOL and things like that started coming online. Um, and just since then, like it, like my mom unfortunately had a digital incident the other day,
Hmm.
and had somebody try to take advantage of her. Things were shut down on her account before anything happened. So
Oh
good for
man.
her. But and she was like, it just felt funky the whole time, and I don't know why I didn't trust myself. And I'm like, don't worry about it. You and 10 other people every friggin' hour
Right. It
fall
has.
victim to that. Like one
Yeah, that's
person
too
every
bad
10
though.
minutes falls victim to something. Oh yeah, absolutely. She had to change bank accounts, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
Um,
yikes.
oh yeah, well, I mean, you got to be safe. But it was also it was a thing that came through to her phone. She didn't answer the phone call, but she listened to the voicemail, and it was somebody telling her that there was an issue with her Yahoo account, and that her Yahoo account had been hacked, and that they had locked it down for security, and that because they locked it down for security, they needed to get rid of all of the malware and stuff like that, which was going to be a small one-time fee, but once it's there, and then it was like, okay, and I had to tell her, like, okay, number one, and I showed my brother. I was like, I can't believe you let Mom keep a Yahoo account.
Yeah, mine's been shut down for like 10 years.
Did you not see the article that I posted on Dudes and Beer Facebook like a month and a half ago, talking about the numbers that they finally released the numbers of the big Yahoo hack that happened in 2013, and it was 3.7 billion accounts.
Yeah, mine was definitely part of it because I hadn't used it in forever, and I got all this alert stuff, and I was like, I don't care. And I mean, just get a grasp on that number, 3.7 billion. That is a third of the population of the world. Yeah, the planet. That's crazy.
That's an insane number of accounts.
That many people have email.
Oh, it's not that they do. I mean, you got to remember, some people have multiple accounts, things like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Personal account, business
Thinking
account.
like the poor children who, with the feed the children videos and like checking their email. They're like, wish somebody would email me some money or some bread.
Like, these children deserve more than just bread and rice. They deserve better than standard dial-up connection. They deserve better than standard dial-up connection.
And some Jack Daniels whiskey.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, how you doing, Mister? I'll show up whenever I want. Stephen has joined us, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Stephen got a little jump start on the drinking today.
Yeah. He was in Sinners. He was in Sinners rehearsal.
I was listening. I walked in the room here and I had my I was tuned in, on the download.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Rock on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We do have a chat going on here. Oh, yeah. Look, Steve-O is taking a pee and listening and coming right now.
So you can chat.
Yeah.
Whenever,
I can't see it.
I was waiting for y'all to say something, but I was like, no, I gotta say.
No. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Yeah.
And it's hard for me to chat when I got pee in my hand,
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough. You gotta focus. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
The one-eyed snake is in my hand, brother.
Hey, send the chat. Does that work?
Hey,
so yeah, Stephen, we're talking about. That's right. We're talking about the rapid digitization of society and how things have progressed just since we've been kids. Like how old were you when you first got a computer in the house?
Oh, geez, dude, that one. I was kind of like one of them underprivileged ones. Let's see, that would have been like.
He doesn't have a computer still.
No, he has a couple.
Does that count? Does a calculator count? No, I'm just joking. No, I mean,
it's technically a computer. Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That's why I picked that. See, people every time I make little jokes like that, they think I'm stupid, but I say that for a reason. Anyways, no, I think it was right around 2000. I want to say somewhere in there.
Wow.
No. Take that back. Late 90s.
There you go. Yeah, that's about.
It was web TV. I remember I had a web TV. Yep.
Okay, so you didn't even have a computer.
Not a real one, no.
No, you had a box that dialed into the internet via your television. It was basically
like a small cable box.
Yeah.
Deal.
Well, it was really like the reverse of Apple TV now.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to using a computer to just run certain entertainment apps, it was.
You couldn't even go to certain sites and stuff. It was all it was all like, I guess, technology of the time and all, but you could limit it to certain deals.
Well, that was pretty high tech though. But I mean, like a standalone computer that had like word processing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have you with that little button of 1 meg jumper there.
I did have a turbo button on a computer that took it to 1 megabyte of speed.
Wow.
Yeah.
See? People think I'm crazy when I say shit.
That is true. We did have that.
Us playing that little helicopter game that was super linear.
One meg.
You know?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna,
Extra speed.
we're gonna jump in at one meg.
Choplifter. Choplifter,
It's like, what
man.
the hell did that do? Not a damn
Not a
thing.
damn
That-
Because it's like a 5 like toss, you know,
Like-
lasts for 5 seconds
Yeah,
and it's over.
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
Oh,
that ain't no shit.
Minesweeper, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But I do remember though when I was in like 8th grade, I think is when AOL kind of came out and became more something that
Yeah.
people had, and my parents had no idea what it was.
Dial up.
Now
Sure.
parents know, but they don't really monitor what their kids are doing. But my parents
God,
had
no.
no idea, and there
Do
was
you-
crazy
and
stuff
I'm-
on those chat boards.
I'm-
Julie, were you looking at duties?
I mean,
I love-
no,
I love Liam, but I hope he's actually not listening because he's not 18 yet. We do talk about some adult topics, but do you monitor your child's
internet?
traffic? Yeah.
No.
No.
not really.
Yeah, and I mean he's a pretty trustworthy kid. You know, I can't imagine he would give you any reason whatsoever to monitor his traffic.
Yeah.
No,
But-
his texts I do. Sometimes I'll just randomly
Sure.
turn them on so that they come onto my phone. So it kind
Okay.
of gives me a good baseline of if I
Yeah.
need to do anything. Like a few years ago, I would kind of just like, what's he into? But every single time it was Minecraft or walkthrough videos for Minecraft, and like really that hasn't changed. So
Yeah.
I quit because it got boring.
Trust you, you do.
Yeah.
But I was
Dark side
glad.
win.
one day.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
There you go.
I ask because, and this is
Wow.
this is to the point that any lawyer would probably say is beyond the point of prosecution.
You gotta warn me when we have a lawyer on the line. Yeah.
You know, like there's, you know, this is so far beyond any statute of limitations that may exist on anything that I
She
did back
told
in the
me
day.
she was 18, bro.
But I
Bad
was
joke,
a
bad
latchkey
joke.
kid. You know,
Bad joke.
well, we'll be
Or-
getting into that stuff. We'll be getting into that.
That's why I
but-
said that. Him
but-
me into.
You
Good,
know,
good.
it was one of those. As a latchkey kid, I typically didn't see my mom until about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. You know, she worked late, and then she went to college a couple nights a week. You know, stuff like that. At one point, when I was in late high school, she was working 2 jobs and going to college. So, you know, it was one of those like. Yeah, you know, I was basically by myself after my freshman year in high school, especially once my brother went off to college, and I got into all kind of mayhem that I probably shouldn't. have
Liam
gotten
was
into.
basically by himself until this year.
Really?
So, I mean, Brian and I both
Yeah.
worked until we got home at like 6:37. So he had from 3:30 till 6:37
Wow.
by himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he could have gotten into a lot of mischief. Now that I'm
true.
home every day, though, it's
Right.
funny because he's still not used to it.
Right.
And he's like, he'll tell me things like, I have my friends over all the time. I'm like, I'm literally here every day, and
That's
I've never
pretty
seen
dope.
your friends.
But when you
He's
come
like,
home,
"Oh."
when you come home, is the house in mayhem or anything? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
yeah.
he would be
Yeah.
good. Like
you come home, everything's fine.
everything's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
and like we go
Yeah.
away for the weekends. He's old enough now. Listeners, don't freak
Yeah.
out.
No,
He stays,
absolutely.
he watches the dogs, and
Yeah.
he's totally responsible. I don't worry about him. But
A 16-year-old could
still-
totally be left by themselves.
What time did you get off or got home?
like around 7,
Oh, okay, yes. Strippers were gone by 6.
probably. I mean, he knew, and I would get
Yeah.
green alerts at
Real-
work, which means that
real
you can leave
business
early.
starts.
So
We
I
gotta
would
go.
like surprise him, and he would be surprised sometimes when I'd come in at like 4:30. But he was never doing anything. He'd just be like, "Man, I didn't think you were coming home for 3 more hours. I'm not ready for this yet."
Yeah.
And I'd be
But he
like,
was probably
do
playing
your
video games.
homework. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
He was just-
He's content with whatever he's
right.
doing.
He
Yeah.
just didn't want me there to
See,
make
I
him like.
can- I
I
can
can pull that
actually
one.
admit to the
Mom gives
fact
me company,
that
yeah.
I can actually admit to the
Oh,
fact
here.
that I did not really do homework from the 7th grade through graduation.
Dude, Liam is right there with you. His teacher
I know.
emailed me yesterday and
I
was
know.
like, "So this is a different teacher. Liam hasn't done any homework this semester." I was like, "Oh, good. We're starting with English now because he's already gotten his ass in
Sure.
line with math and chemistry. So
sure.
of course it's going to be English now."
Yep.
It's because he already knows what sugar and water together does, right? Sugar and water make sweet water.
Go chemistry.
So I took a screenshot of the email from his teacher and sent it to Liam, and I was like, I have your laptop, I have your iPod, I have your NES, your DS, I have your Super Nintendo, I have your Switch.
Ooh.
I've got everything.
I
can
own
have
your
back.
life outside of
Email
school.
from your teacher. And last night he's texting me and he's like, can I get my iPad back? And I was like, do you do your English homework? He's like, the cat really wants to watch a movie. And I was like, tell the cat to go to sleep.
Tell the cat to help you with its English homework.
I mean, then he's texting me. He didn't take his phone.
Yeah,
like,
right?
he still had one more electronic device in there. I was like, shit, the phone.
Oh, did he? Did he have like a Walmart throwdown? He's got like the Breaking Bad throwdown phone for whenever he gets grounded. You know, like just buys minute cards for it.
Because he uses his phone in school, and he has a school issued laptop, so I can't take those.
Yeah.
So they really tie my hands a little bit there. Like, well, I can take everything I can take away, but everything the school makes you have, I guess you can still have.
Well, I don't think you can access social media on the school laptop.
Oh no, you
though,
can.
can
He
you?
was playing Pokemon
Dude.
on it.
Dude.
Yeah,
Because he
but I
was
mean,
supposed to be doing his English, and I walk around and I was like, dude, you're playing Pokemon.
Dude, I work in the
but I mean
richest
social
district
media,
for
like
Austin, okay?
onto
Seriously.
like Facebook.
Seriously, like
Oh,
I
yeah,
work over there in the richest area of Austin, right, where my job is at, like my day job. Anyway, long story short, like they're issued those fucking iPads or whatever.
Liam gets a Chromebook.
Yeah, like that.
A
You know what I
brand new
mean?
one.
And guess what? Hey, you know this, Chris? If it'll search for devices to connect to. If it connects to that other device, it has that same access to that device.
But
You see what I mean?
the teachers can monitor it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
So they're being
teacher-
caught doing a bunch of shit.
Yeah, they're getting caught. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the teachers can monitor it 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're never allowed to go past like certain parameters, but they
Yeah.
can, like they're physically able to.
Yeah.
What's funny is I texted you earlier to see if Jeffrey Gottlieb could come on, and that is exactly what he does for a living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should've,
Is
uh,
run
Exactly,
that
right?
software for
I
school
would
districts
right
and
there up
install
his
it
alley.
on their machines.
Yep, so they can
The-
spy on the kiddos.
Well,
Anything used for good
What are
could be
people
used for
flapping
evil.
about? What
That's
did
how
the
I
Cheetos
feel
say?
about that. Is anything good
well,
could
and
be
how
used
do
for
you how do
taking
you as a
evil.
parent feel about that, Julie?
If it's school property, I don't have any problem with it. If he wants to do nefarious things and he's dumb enough to do it on school property, then he deserves to get caught. If he's
Sure.
going to do it on his own personal property, then
And what's the worst he can
that's
do?
one
Look
thing.
at some, like, nudie Rudies and
I don't
yada,
know.
yada, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like yeah.
but he should not
Who
be
didn't do that?
at school.
Did we not do that? You know what I mean? It's like we all are guilty of the same shit. You
I'm
know?
gonna say I didn't.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I was a bulletin
And we all
board
grew
user.
up to be good people. I would like to think.
Yeah.
Bulletin board user. I remember when porn was a GIF sequence of 5 images strung back to back in a loop.
Yeah, and it took forever to download and shit. Like literally an hour to get an image.
Lo and behold, what do we use for all advertising on the internet now?
Imagine that. Jesus Christ.
And people were like, wow, this is the
Yeah.
future, man.
I'm gonna go make lasagna
Dude,
and come back. Maybe
dude.
that's halfway there.
Dude, there's knees.
I see it. You know, it's above the knee.
Yeah, there's
The
knees.
There's
side.
knees, bro.
I see some, bro. Here it comes in the next 2 hours.
Let's go to Wendy's and come back.
yeah. I'll get a milkshake and it'll be all good.
But
Thank God it ain't the real
and
deal.
you know, it is all just floating out there. You know, when we had Arshawn McCluskey on just before Christmas,
Right.
talking about internet security, one of the things that I mentioned was the fact of I do not tag my son in any image that I post of him.
Why would you tag him? Does he have a social media presence already, like a Twitter account?
Like his
or-
own
No,
page,
but
right?
I don't even. I typically don't even put his name in the post either.
Well, yeah.
You know what I
I don't
mean?
think I've ever seen you put his name in a post. Yeah.
No,
I've
like
seen
I'll
photos,
put
but never a name.
his name in posts, but typically I don't do it in a post with a picture
Yeah.
Right. Makes
because then
perfect
the two
sense.
are associated, and it's the question of, you know, just digital rights. Like, in this biometric day and age, like everything is being scanned biometrically. You know, like
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
there's
Yeah.
facial recognition on Facebook. There's
Yeah.
facial
Mhm.
recognition on your phone. All
There's
kinds
facial
of stuff.
recognition
So,
on you right now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm using my camera to do Skype.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
watching my
right.
face.
Right. Right.
So, putting that stuff out there, I try to be
There's a
very
patent.
cautious
There's a
and very.
patent of that. I wanna say Snapchat has a patent on the facial recognition, and it's like and I looked it up, and I don't know if they're the ones or the first ones, but anyways, they have a patent on that, some or other, on facial recognition on that, and then the government picked it up.
Yeah, makes sense. I
Yeah.
can see that. Because it's usually
Well-
a private sector that does the big
Right.
invention.
Yeah,
and
you
the
did it. They do
government's
the
like,
dirty work.
Oh, we can totally use this.
It's always
Well-
the good, smart ones that do the dirty work, and the government's like, "Hey, I want that."
Well, what happens is that they actively go to conferences, they actively go to tech conferences and see people that are up and coming. Facebook was another one, and InQtel is the financial arm of the CIA. And they invest.
I love
they're
that
like,
Pokemon.
They're like Niantic. Niantic Soft was the company that came up with Pokemon Go. They were originally a mapping software. They were a mapping software to where you could follow crowd
Hey,
flows.
wait, what's
things
happening
like
with
that.
the State of the Union? Why is everybody clapping? Is he done already?
Oh,
No,
God,
he's
Jesus.
not done already. America's great. We're doing bigly huge.
Oh, good. What a. Oy. Good.
Let's
Not
see,
good,
let's
guys.
see.
Not good.
We're totally defending our Second Amendment and have taken
No,
historic
did
actions
you-
to protect
stop,
religious
God,
liberty.
yeah.
Did you see the Dow? It's huge.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Did you see the major hit to the medical sector today, though? That was
Yeah.
pretty bigly huge.
Yeah, well, not just that, but did you see the fact that, like, what was it? Amazon and two other companies are forming a healthcare system.
Yeah.
Say what?
Yep.
Oh,
But just
my-
for their employees.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's okay.
There's a certain point to where I get to be like my parents and be like, what in the fuck's going on?
I feel like, why not? You know?
No. If you
Go
can
for
create the
Amazon
system,
healthcare?
if
Why
you
not?
can-
I mean, if it works, I'm down, but it
Progressive-
sounds weird.
I think they're just self-funding, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. They're compartmentalizing. They're teaming up with a couple of other companies that have done
Yeah.
similar type things, and forming a larger conglomerate that they can all take part in. And
Yeah,
it's a brilliant idea. It's a great
I'm kind of
concept.
for it, yeah. The only thing that I'm suspicious about
Yeah.
is that in places that Amazon has moved, the wage has gone down from like an
Yeah.
average of like 36,000 a year to like 24,000 a year. So I
Sure.
gotta think if they're not
Sure.
taking care of their people in a very basic fundamental level, it's probably gonna be some shit healthcare.
You know they'd be making money, so they shouldn't be
Right.
going down, they should be going up.
Right.
But if
Like,
it's,
I think-
but here's the thing, even if because I don't have good health care, honey. I
I
mean,
have
good
great
God.
healthcare.
I mean, you have great health care, absolutely. I mean, your husband still has his job and all that stuff. And
No,
aside
I'm
from that,
salty.
you have great health
Julie
care.
got
anyway.
good health care? Oh, that's great.
I
But
do, 1%.
But
Reign
with the-
supreme, guys.
with the ACA,
I mean, so-
with the ACA that Amy and I were on, there was literally an choice, a single choice of OB-GYNs to go to for her pregnancy.
Right. There was only
Wow.
one in the
And-
city of Austin, right?
In the entire
crazy.
city, in like a city of 1 million plus people, there
Right.
was
Yeah, that's
one.
nuts.
Yeah.
You know that waiting list is gonna
There
be.
remember
is no option.
Yeah, I remember your predicament. It was ATX
You know?
one, Doctor I, the whole goddamn thing. It's like,
Yeah.
what? That's
crazy.
too much. Yeah, that's crazy.
And to not be able to have a choice, like, hey, what if like you get in there and you're just weirded out and you just don't like the
Yeah.
doctor?
What?
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like,
you need to have choices.
What do you do now? And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's tough. Even people
Like
like my
this
mom,
dude.
a retired teacher, her insurance premium went up, I think, by like $100-something a month, something like that. And she's like
That's rough.
a retired teacher living on a fixed income, like medically retired.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
it's-
can't afford that.
No.
You
it's
budget.
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. The one thing and you know, Julie, I'm not a fan of the man on stage right now. Uh, I vote my conscience. I don't vote party. I didn't trust either one of the people
That's
who
why I
ended
didn't
up
vote.
in the final part of the election.
People can
And
hate me.
What
That's why I
what
didn't vote. I
makes
didn't like anyone.
what makes me sad is the fact that I actually trusted Bernie until he got rid of the I in his name.
I kind of
Once he
like
got-
Bernie in a way, though.
Once he got rid
Bernie
of
was
the
kinda cool.
independent and joined the Democrats, it was like I can't. No, I'm sorry, dude. Like you've been a 20-year independent, and now suddenly you're a
Well, he's
Democrat.
back to being an independent. He's all right. He got
Yeah.
burned pretty badly there.
I guess
Well,
even in your old
what
age,
do
you
you
can get
expect?
I
suckers.
felt the burn.
Your old age,
What do
and
you-
you can
what do you
still get
expect?
I
suckers.
did too, though. I loved Bernie.
And
Little Bernie.
you can go back. I would challenge you to go back and
Man.
listen to the footage of the whole election year. But everything I said the whole time was like, "Good luck against the Clinton war camp.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck against it. Nobody has ever survived it.
Right.
Trump was the only one to come out above the
Right.
fray, and
Uh,
that's kind of frightening."
I can throw some things out there. I can throw things out there, but yeah, you're
But I
absolutely
wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan
can
of either
empathize.
one. At the end of it,
no, but
I
he
still
did at
cast.
least take away the fine, right? If you
Yeah.
don't have health insurance.
Exactly.
Wait, did
It
it?
was
Yeah.
that was
So
my
you,
whole
like,
thing.
This year,
Yeah,
I
if
won't
you
get
don't have health
Seriously?
insurance, you don't have.
Yes.
If I don't have that health insurance next time IRS comes, I don't get penalized.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
but starting this
How
year,
many-
not
Yeah,
last.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
that,
okay.
that's
'cause
been
I'm
my
already
whole
late
issue with the
this year,
ACA
but I
to
wasn't
begin
late last
with
year.
was, hey, that's
Oh.
cool if you want to make a federal healthcare system. What you can't do is penalize people for not making their personal decision the way you want them to make it.
Right.
You know,
But
like if
how
you
do
don't want to
people-
have health care, that's your own decision. I think it's a
Weird,
bad
but-
decision,
Yep.
especially if health care is there and it's affordable. You know,
And what about the recent tariffs on say LG, the washer and dryers, and the companies things coming from China and stuff? He's putting those taxes and tariffs on it.
they should be
wanting-
there.
He says
should be
he's
there.
trying to get them to come and make their manufacturing here in the United
Yeah.
States. That's his whole goal. Yeah.
There's
I don't
a
think
there's
it's gonna happen.
There's a big
is
reason
that-
why there's a big
Yeah.
reason why Apple's building that huge production facility just north of Austin.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
I can tell
Right,
you.
more fucking people.
True that. Okay, I
Well,
guess.
and
Yeah.
more jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Get
just
more
wondering
jobs.
if this
And
tactic
let's
is
also
working.
not-
No.
let's also
Of course it's
not
gonna
forget
create jobs if it works, but
when
I'm just
when
wondering.
you're talking about made here in America, at least then
Right.
you're not
That's
talking
what
about
he
like
says.
suicide nets.
That's his
you know,
whole point
like-
of tariffs is to get them to say, "Hey, come make it here." Then
Well,
you know,
it's nice, Apple being made here instead of by tiny children, because I do feel guilty every time I use well, not every time I use my phone.
but here's the thing,
only
though.
a couple times a
Hold
month.
on.
Here's the thing. I've seen
Yeah, go
news programs and everything saying that because of the tariffs, the price of a washer has jumped up like $50 or whatnot, whatever. So they're compensating for the price of the tariffs on their
That's what
items and their merchandise. So therefore,
We're paying
does
more
it
for
not
it.
matter to them? Okay, so you slap a
No,
tariff
it
on me.
doesn't.
I'm just going to jack it up on your end. They're
That's-
going to pay it anyway. You see what I
And-
mean?
Hopefully that's what the consumer sees is that they
See.
don't care.
Right. So it still depends on the consumer.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
no, because I just bought a washer
Right.
and dryer, and it
So
was
the demand,
quite a
if
lot
you
more
still run
expensive.
to it and you still buy it, it's still not going to affect them.
right,
Right.
because there's still a demand. People still need a
Right.
washer and dryer.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that the idea
No.
was kind of a good maybe idea, but at the same time, it's there was
The
a
cost
clearly
gets
loophole
moved
here.
somewhere.
That's how it used to be, and that's the incentive
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
building your factories
We'll,
in America.
we'll
It was
just
kind
jack
of like
up the price.
Well, it was kind of like
You
the
know?
horrible concept of number one, bailing out the auto industry to begin with. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what bankrupted communist Russia was trying to absorb
well, it
businesses.
kind of works here.
It kind of worked until the fact that they still
And we're-
didn't put manufacturing here. Most of them moved their manufacturing overseas
Well,
after
Detroit.
they were bailed out
but
not once but twice.
I mean, a lot of jobs were saved, and
A
all
lot
of those
were.
companies are still doing
A lot.
fairly well.
Yeah. But
It was better than it. Definitely better than it could have been.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. But the fact that you even have to bail out an industry twice to begin with, that's something that you kind of have to consider. You know,
yeah, like maybe put some smarter people in charge.
By all capitalist rules, should we really be doing that? And even with that in mind, you know, talking about the digitization of society and things, like I'm sitting here in the heart of Houston. Right next to me is the George R. Brown Convention Center, one of the only places that I know of that has a Bitcoin ATM.
Oh, the shitcoin, as people are now calling it.
Yeah. Oh no, you had to know it was gonna bust, man.
I've been meaning to take a photo of this thing, like when I go to work. Okay, like there's a few stoplights. At the stoplight of this one, like, you know, it's a few before I get to work. It's anyway. Long story short, there's a damn. You know how you have those damn things that people like put in the ground. You know, vote for so and so or whatever they gotta say, right?
Yeah, sign.
It says a sign. Yeah, long story short, long sign. And
everywhere is a sign, Steven.
It says
blocking
Bitcoin
up the scenery.
ATM. I'm sitting at the goddamn stoplight and it says Bitcoin ATM. I'm fumbling around for my phone and I'm like, goddamn, this is crazy. I'm gonna take a photo, and I never got it.
Now here's my question.
It's like, that's
number
crazy.
one, we had a good conversation about it. And I still want to have Michael Cargill on to talk about it because he's the only vendor I know that accepts Bitcoin.
When you talk about rabbit hole, that's a rabbit
for the
hole.
gun.
That's a goddamn rabbit hole.
But it's one of those, like, it was
So if he accepted Bitcoin back when it was like gangbusters, now it's totally busted.
And it fluctuates.
Like,
Why would you want to accept this? Might not be $200 tomorrow. It might be $1.
Steven, what you have to remember is that the dollar fluctuates. Gold
not by
fluctuates.
a billion%.
But it
like
doesn't fluctuate
Bitcoin
that much, I don't think, right?
It fluctuates.
True.
I know it's losing ground still consistently worldwide.
Okay.
The dollar.
I feel you on where you're going. I feel
Not surprisingly.
Like there are a few things that don't fluctuate, especially wildly when it comes to commodities. But that's
I really
the
do think that
conversation
if
we were having.
I think Marco Cargill is a very intelligent man, and if he accepts it, he did his due diligence, and
the
that
question
he knows
for
what
me
he's doing.
Is that
he knows what he's doing.
There's one Japanese guy that is supposedly responsible for starting the blockchain, but we still don't technically know if that was the dude.
Right, exactly. It says that too. It says this guy's kind of like as far back as we can go, but he doesn't want to accept that he's the guy.
You know, so here's this ethereal currency.
It's really weird. It's like an anomaly. It's like a fucking weird deal.
Yeah. It was just wild. And you're talking about, like, you know, a Bitcoin being worth $13,000. How do you withdraw any percentage of that from an ATM?
Right?
Like, let me withdraw 1%.
I feel the problem.
Here's $1,300.
I feel the problem would be coming from a strange currency to the accepted currency. You know, transferring of, or, you know, becoming this to that. You know, like you go to Mexico, you trade it in for pesos.
Right, there's the rate exchange.
Yeah, I feel that's the issue. I would think, but it almost seems like there's not. Now there's these fucking ATMs. It's like, what's going on here?
Well, you know, a lot of people made a lot of money knowing that was gonna burst and cash out when it was at like $9,000-$10,000.
It's
How
like,
do you
what do you
cash it out though? Like, where did you go and invest your money? That's my question.
There are, like, online, what's his name? Mark Trainer, who is, he's in Flower Mound. He's an attorney. He was running for some sort of a public office. We talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like attorneys.
He invests in Bitcoin, so he knew like when to cash out. He changed it into other online currencies.
It's like a Martha Stewart deal.
Easier, I think, to convert into cash or to convert into stocks or whatever. But there's like a ton of different online currencies now. That all of them have different sort of varying abilities to actually convert it into cash. But you can totally do it if you are part of it. And I was part of their Facebook page. It's like a Bitcoin investors
I want to see an ATM of a Bitcoin that
like,
gives you American cash.
Hold on. So
I don't know. But I'm on the Facebook group. I could probably find out exactly what he did to change it. But I know that he was able to convert it all into cash.
wow.
Into like
Yeah,
money,
and,
and other, like
and
stocks.
that's
and
just
stuff.
it. Like it takes trades and trades and trades. Like it takes
Yes.
many steps to be able to get it into, especially doing it like he was doing it, trading it as a currency on
Right.
basically an open market. And that's what I
That's
didn't
probably
get.
the best way to do it
Hmm.
would be
Well,
to trade it for
Yeah,
stocks.
yeah. Absolutely.
Hmm.
If you could
Hmm.
find somebody that would accept it as a form of payment for stocks, I don't think it could be,
Right. I gotta
because
think if I went into my money guy at Merrill Lynch was like, hey, I got this 1/3 of one Bitcoin. What can you do for me? It'd be like
yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
I think Merrill Lynch is
I got
better
nothing
with
for
it,
you.
too. No, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm getting the Sachs one. The Sachs, whatever his name, Sachs.
yeah,
The big wig.
yeah. I just
He might be
I
even
don't
the same
grasp
guy.
the concept of Bitcoin, and that's a prime example of the rapid digitization of
Well,
the
our
world
money is
around us.
virtual as well, though. Cash is virtual. It's the same, really.
That's why we can't count Fort Knox.
Well,
it's empty.
It kind of is due to the fact. It
Some
kind of
bitches
is due to the
making
fact
shit up.
that they, they can print whatever they want and just say it's
Right.
worth whatever they want.
And
Yeah.
it's not
You know.
backed by anything. We're trillions of dollars in debt.
Hmm.
So,
So
the
you-
money is basically
So you can
worthless.
tell
It's just
theoretically.
that people accept that it has value, so it has value. Same
So
as Bitcoin.
theoretically,
Exactly.
you can tell the Federal Reserve, hey, print me up all this money, hey, and they're like behind the scenes, like, hey, brother, man, you need to give me some gold, and then you say, okay, I got Fort Knox, and then you give it all, hey, just keep printing, brother. Hey,
Well,
are you
at
gonna pay
one
me
point-
back?
Fort Knox stopped being our federal backing in like I don't know 100 years ago.
But if people
Yeah.
really knew that, what the economy would happen to the economy if people knew that, right? You know what I mean?
Number one,
Supposed to
yes.
get
I mean,
goddamn
a
gold listener.
banknote used to
I know.
mean that your
Plays
$20
expensive.
bill was worth the equivalent of $20 of gold.
Right. Nah, not
right
anymore.
now it's worth the equivalent of
Yeah, God knows.
$20 trillion of debt.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. It's worth the equivalent of like a quarter gram of gold.
I heard.
The worst part
Something
too.
like
Remember
that.
when we used to go to Europe and our dollar
Yeah.
was like $1.80, and now our dollar's like 8 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I heard-
I mean, I
I
remember
heard-
crossing borders and making money.
I
Yeah,
heard-
Like
I heard-
planning a
story.
trip so that like as you went on, you could still enjoy your trip, about spending less money but getting more for it.
yeah, yeah. Those days, man, those are good days.
I heard stories of World War II where people would like burn the fucking I don't know what it was called in Germany, but I think it was called marks,
Yep.
maybe or somewhere. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it didn't mean nothing, so they
Yeah,
would
the
burn it
Reichsmark.
in the fireplace.
Yeah, because it was better as kindling.
yeah,
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 yeah, the
and
Reichsmark.
Julie knows that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Remember also during the Civil War, there was like Confederate money that was
Right.
worthless, but now if you
Yeah.
had it, it's like
Oh, God,
just
it's-
collectible worth like
yeah.
a bunch. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of the war, everyone was like, we've been getting paid in this, assuming that we would win, and now
Right.
we have like
Assuming.
all of this paper.
Well,
Good
not
job,
just
dummies.
that, but it wasn't but shortly before that there actually became a federal currency.
Right.
Y-
That
you
was
know,
when it
I
was
mean,
actually backed by gold.
Yeah, yeah, and it was the fact of, hey, like dollars in Colorado didn't look like dollars in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like every banknote in the state looked different. You know.
True. Yeah.
So it was a wild situation, and looking at the digitization of life as we go on, even the use of banks the way that we are now, the fact that we're to the point of Apple Pay. Like I would never ever
Yeah, exactly.
ever
Yeah.
activate Samsung Pay on my phone.
Oh
No,
my God,
me
I use
either.
Apple
Me
Pay
either. I don't
every
do it.
day.
Fuck. Oh, yeah.
I do.
Julie's guilty.
Really high security alerts on my bank. Like, I literally paid off
I
my
bet you
mortgage
do.
this week, and they called me to make sure that I did it on
When
purpose.
you're Goldman's and Sachs, you get past them alerts.
Of all things, the bank that you have your mortgage through is like,
Yeah, they were
so,
like,
this
like,
is
no, we're
real,
making
right?
last payment. Like, just
Like-
relax.
like, just
We've had
make-
this house for 15 years. We're done
Like,
paying it now.
Just making sure, you know what you're doing here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, look at it.
You
I
meant
guess
to
you
hit
could
that
pay it
button.
a different way, but yeah.
You
like,
meant
yeah,
to
we're
hit that
good.
pay in full, right?
In full.
Set up like red flags, and Brian's like, the bank thinks that our mortgage is fraud.
What you
this
drinking
month.
over there?
Yeah.
That look like Bud Light. That's the cheapest beer you can get.
Bud Light.
No, as a matter of
Bud
fact,
Light.
I have run out of
Bud
Oh,
Light.
cider, huh?
with sharing the beauty that is hops and grain with people that I've been staying with here in Houston. I am drinking some Red's Blueberry Ale right now, which is
Is that
tasty.
cider?
No, it's not. It's got kind of a cider to it, but it is an ale, and it's definitely got the blueberry, but it's got some apple backing to it, most definitely. I think just because
that's
that's
cool.
the Red's formula. But
Yeah.
it's good stuff. It's nice and light. It's got a crisp flavor. I've enjoyed it.
Right on. Is that like a local Houston thing?
No,
No, it's
absolutely
not Red.
not.
Right.
Yeah. Where is that from?
Bud Light Lime.
It is union made. Hey,
Oh,
Hey,
hey, that's
you leave-
good. I
you
love
leave-
unions.
you leave you leave Bud Light Lime out of this.
You got Julie over here chirped up a little bit.
I love unions.
That's just a tricked out werewolf
Strong
killer, is all that is.
family.
Where
What's the next?
Bud Light Lime is like a hollow point silver bullet.
Yeah.
It's better than a regular silver bullet.
No. Yeah, silver bullet.
Woo.
I'm glad we're drinking hops and grain.
No,
Yes,
it's great
that's
over
right.
here with hops and grain. I tell
The
you
days-
what, man.
The days of low class beer and the
I've
dudes
been
in beer
drinking
studio is
Zoe.
gone.
How many houses? Is that your first porter there? Your first
Second
porter?
one of the day.
Oh,
It's
really? You
good.
like
Yeah.
them? You
I
like?
like them.
It's very
It's
impressive
like
that Julie likes the
Sweet and
hardcore ones like this.
delicious.
Going
Let's see.
back
Getting
to-
notes of yumminess.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's
thick.
definitely it's got kind of a cherry back to it. You know, like kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
like a chocolate cherry
I want to think about it.
in the
but I don't think-
background.
No,
Yeah,
I
like
think-
it's
I get what he's getting at, though.
on the
yeah.
on the back of my
Oh,
tongue.
yeah,
Like
yeah, on the smell it
there's
does.
like a there's
Same.
like a good smoky porter
Yeah.
flavor, but then like on the backside there's like a stout chocolate with a little bit of cherry in it. It's really
It
was-
wild.
Reminds
Yeah.
me of like a really
Mm.
much better
He'd be good
Shiner
on.
black.
He'd be good
Yes.
on the city slickers where they
Yeah.
have those two ice cream men that can do the ice cream. What goes good with this ice cream right here?
And the
And they're like, oh,
yeah.
this goes good with steak and taters.
I remember coming home from Maine
There
right
was
as
two
Shiner
guys on
Black
the-
came out and trying it and going, wow, this is like Shiner Buck and Guinness had a baby and decided to keep it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was Dave's favorite Shiner
There
Black.
was two
Oh, I
guys
love
on
Shiner
city
Black.
slickers.
It's
Me
good
of it.
stuff.
Like,
I'm
but it's,
a
this
fan
is
of
sweeter, I think.
I never
Yeah.
thought about cherry because I really ate cherry and I can down that one.
it's
and,
it's
you know,
a
it's like,
slight
if I think
hint.
about cherry, I will not down it.
It's a slight,
Yeah.
no, it's just a
I
slight
feel you,
hint
though.
of almost like cherry
you're
wood
right.
or something.
Yeah. No, you're right though. You're like you know.
Probably
one
the
is
casks
Rebecca's
it's aged
favorite.
in,
Hops and grain
something
one.
like that. But,
Yeah, it's like not like it's nowhere overpowering. It's
But
like
going back
Yeah.
to Apple Pay, things like that, and secure methods of
Samsung
payment.
Pay, which we
I-
brought a conviction of.
I remember when PIN numbers first came out. I remember when people first started, using chips and cards, all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Right.
And it blows my mind now that number one, I would never have something that is both my wallet and my cell phone case. I know.
I
love you so much, Julie. To me, it's the situation of if you lose one, you lose the other. That's just the prepper in me, you know.
And what? Then I just call people and I get new stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine. What's gonna happen?
See,
Give me some new stuff, bro.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and you can do it all from like Brian's phone because in this scenario, mine's been stolen.
But that's just me. I wouldn't do that, and I also wouldn't be somebody to just use that quick, easy method of payment. I never believed in the.
Oh my god,
like-
Amazon, the one click. Oh.
The one click.
It's-
Yeah, so like you want
Yeah.
to
What do
buy
you do
something
there?
on Amazon. Here, let's see. What are we gonna
Gotta
buy?
take off clothes to do that?
Yeah.
What are you
What?
looking for? What do I
Damn.
need?
That ain't the right damn place for me, then.
Oh, don't go for what you need. Just go for what you want.
Let's see. Here, I'll just click on what I just ordered.
I just
Yeah.
want to order something.
Here. And then
Naked.
you can just go. I'm not going to order it, but look, buy
Yeah,
now
right.
with one
Yeah.
click. And that's
Right.
literally all you have to do. And then tomorrow it will be at my door.
Ooh,
Yep.
Julie, you better hope that don't butt dial.
I never thought of that. Because I butt dial people all the time.
I've
Hell
never
yeah.
butt purchased.
That would
I'll
be
admit
funny
that.
if like the
I've
most
never butt
random
purchased,
shit-
but I fucking called the goddamn cops, and I was in the bathroom, and I heard a talking coming from my fucking pant pocket, and I was like,
Did you call 911 while you were pooping?
yeah, it was
dude?
911.
Sonia's done that to my phone
Yeah.
before several times.
And I picked it. I pulled it out of my pocket when I'm draining the lizard, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, and I could see the like last call type deal or some or other.
Steve, you need
and
to stop taking your phone into bathrooms, bro.
I'm
Well,
like,
it-
but I wouldn't even do
I'm not
that.
going to do that either. But
I was
if your
trying to
phone's
relieve
locked,
myself. I was trying to just relieve it. But I had to let them know, hey, I'm just at work peeing, bro. Hell up, sorry. Like, I don't know what the hell happened.
you know, that happens like a million times a
Yeah.
day. Sonia,
I'm
my
sure.
friend,
Yeah,
she has this
the way
bad
they
habit
acted,
of
it was-
going like this
Yeah.
on people's phones.
Can you
and
imagine these?
every
Okay.
time it will call 911.
Now we have all
Apple's
this new
figured it out,
technology, and
Yeah.
we have all those operators, 911 particular, and then all the.
Well,
So like Julie was saying, they're not like when I told them it was no fucking like, oh okay, you know, it's like
yeah.
no.
Yeah,
But
because
No,
people
but
they
do
here's the
actually
thing.
investigate every
Yeah.
call,
It
but
does.
now
It
they're
does
like,
happen. It does
Yeah.
happen.
they're used.
Here's
so
here's the
it's
thing
going up.
though, and here's what a lot of
Take
people don't realize: the moment
call.
you call 911, especially from a cell phone, you
Right.
become a 911 transponder for the next hour and a half to 2 hours minimum.
Well, that's fine. Oh, you mean they're listening in with the speaker and all that bullshit?
No. It just means
Oh.
that they're actively tracking your location.
Oh, that's
No,
fine. I was
that's
gonna
fine.
Imagine if you called up and said, fire, 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 and hung up, but you were actually being kidnapped.
Right.
Ah.
At least
Good
your
point.
phone became a transponder for 911 for the next 2 hours.
Have
and
you
they have
seen
a
those
radius of
news
location.
articles though, where they like
Okay.
cannot ping you at all, and people
Yeah.
will call 911, and then like it takes an hour and a half, and the person's already dead because they got lost and they couldn't track the
That's
phone.
fucked
like,
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
yeah,
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did I mention that's fucked up?
But-
Yeah, it was a big news story like 6 months
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
No,
And,
that ain't cool at all.
well, and the thing is,
You
the
can do all-
technology,
You know?
the technology for that stuff has existed for a long, long time.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that we get now is like it's already been done. It's been done so long now. You know. Yeah. I mean, shit, man. Everything that we have now, it's like I want to say 20 years they already had it. You know what I mean? Something like that. And
Well,
you can
and
ask
that's
the fucking
before you got here, Steve. We were talking about the book that I'm reading right now, "The Third Ingredient" by Jim Blasingame.
Okay.
And
All
it's
right.
subtitled "The Journey of Analog Ethics into the World of Digital Fear and Greed," and you know, it really is the concept of the confluence between our analog forever sense of ethics as people,
I
as
was gonna
society,
Yeah.
reacting with each other,
And-
and
yeah.
the way that we react now in the digital world.
Exactly.
And Julie's taking a break real quick, but whenever she gets
Sure,
back,
yeah.
I want to get into that. I want to focus on that and really drill into that concept because
Even for me, who is very reluctant as to go to social media for, my information.
Oh,
Even
really?
though I'm, yeah, well,
you don't
I
read
mean,
the dudes and beer posts at all.
well, no, I don't read dudes and beer posts at all. And so the thing is like, as being reluctant is, I mean, whatever, the fakeness. It's like, it's almost, you gotta fucking have the fucking bullshit sensor on your brain, and you gotta have fucking common sense first of all. And that's the whole point of it. And so, anyways, long story short is
Too
that
late.
to have the new technology that we have and being in the middle of it, that where I'm at is, say, like me and you and whatnot, is that there are people that will still, even though you don't want to do it, and you will still pick up that phone and dial through your social media and look at shit. And it will influence you. It doesn't matter if you believe it, but it will influence you on some certain level.
On some level. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's one thing to consider, not just that, but continuing. We were just talking about how we're going to get into the concept of analog ethics in a digital world, things like that in just a moment, and how it's related to recent media stories, that kind of stuff. But to finish up with digital payments and ethics in and of itself, in regards to that, something we've spoken about numerous times is the fact that banks have talked about putting in retinal scanners at ATMs, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I'm not a fan of that. Not just biometrically. I mean, hey, my bank has my thumbprint. Whatever.
Right.
The state has my thumbprint. Whatever.
Disneyland has our
I don't
thumbprint.
care.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Goddamn Disney, goddamn mouse. I'm gonna stomp that mouse.
I'll show you some cool articles about how the CIA helped Disneyland secure the land in Florida.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
How about room 33 over there that you got to be a member of?
Oh, no, that's
my God, I wanna go.
that's
I wanna go so
Disneyland, not
bad.
Disney World.
Yeah,
Because
I wanna go
Disneyland,
so
not
bad.
Julie typically goes to Disney World.
I'm going to Disneyland.
Oh, we gotta
next
Totally
Disneyland is in LA, or in
I wanna go
Anaheim,
to-
rather.
Club
Well,
33
take me
or
some
whatever. Oh, I want to go so bad.
Club
Y'all get
33
some
is
good
like
LSD
the elite,
now.
the elite.
$1,000 meal though, so I don't want to pay for it.
I
but
want to go with you
to
sometime.
go.
Yeah.
I've never been to see the mouse.
Oh,
Well,
This
hey,
mouse.
hey,
Totally
guys, here's the thing.
Disneyland.
Let's make that a goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean,
Let's make that a goal.
I was gonna say, I'm.
Let's go to
Dudes and beer live from the 33 Club.
From the goddamn 33 Club.
All right?
Hey, dudes and beer at the 33 Club.
I'm sure
What's
Aaron
up?
probably can figure it out.
Dude,
Dudes
that'd
and
be
beer
sick.
live from the
I'll
33
say that
Club.
would be-
That'd be
That would
dope.
be so sick.
I'll work
That
on
would be so sick.
Yeah.
at least a drive-by of it this summer.
I think.
That'll
aren't
be
you
a
really-
conversation of like, I'm sorry, Dalbus. Dad just has to go to see Mickey for work.
You think so?
Yeah, well, I
People
think
care?
so.
Oh.
Fuck yeah. You look like John Conley. Doesn't she look like John Conley?
That's my husband's family, not my family.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
in Sheehy's, which is also a
Yeah.
big deal, but not in Texas.
damn. Well, then she still looks like me.
She looks nothing like John Connolly.
Oh, damn. I thought you looked
Liam
like more
does
than
a little
anyway, long
bit.
story short.
Liam looks
Now-
like him a little.
And
Yeah.
my worry with things, talking about biometric stuff, things like that, even with Dalbus, like we were earlier with photos online, is especially with using iris scanners. It's the fact of they can read your blood alcohol content. What if, like,
Right, yeah.
hey, sure, you went to the strip club a few nights a week. But
Right.
suddenly your bank started saying, like, hey, we've noticed financially that you tend to run, like, because Bank of America used to show me my average spending and, like,
Oh yeah, it shows
hey,
me.
Yeah, right.
like, you average, like, negative $8 a month.
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah,
not
right.
that I was
That's
negative
not
8, but, the way that the cycle was running, it
Right.
was negative $8 a month. So
Generally.
And
what
you,
would
and you know
happen-
what? Yeah,
What would
that's
happen
totally
if
what they would
so
do.
many
That's
withdrawals after a certain time of night?
yeah.
If it's an
Well, they
iris
can't.
scanner,
To
it's got
cut
an
you off.
infrared laser, and that's
It's
the
so
same
you're
thing as
not
being able to
eligible
read
for
your
something.
oxygen content or anything
Right.
like that, like what they put on you at the hospital. So
Yeah.
they could
They
definitely
could
read your
say
blood
that, like,
alcohol content.
contractually, you're not
Yeah.
able to make
Yeah.
that decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Right.
I
we
don't think they
show
would do
that
that
you're an
because they like
inebriate.
the fees. They like the overdraft fees. I don't think they
The
would do
overdraft
that.
fees. But what if you're not overdraft?
Or could you
Oh,
then
no.
argue
I
if
guarantee
they
you that there
let
would
you
be an
take the
override
money
fee.
out
There would
and
be an
then
override fee. I
But if you
guarantee
still got
you.
the money, you're just yanking it out, though.
No, no,
no, but I
no.
wonder, like, if you took out money that you didn't necessarily have, because let's say you had another bill out there,
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
but
they
the
used to let you
scanner
do
said
it.
that you were drunk, like, could you then argue that they had a moral obligation to not give
could.
you that money?
You could, but you're pretty rare to find
Huh.
an account or a
But
bank
you're
that
switching it
lets
around.
you
Huh?
that lets you
Sounds kinda
actively
cool. I like that.
overdraw like that anymore.
Well, but if they don't know, like, let's say, like, I gave Liam his piano lesson tuition today. Let's
Sure.
not say I literally did that. I paid his piano lesson today, but it's a check. It takes them like 4 days because
Sure.
for whatever reason they're still living in the past. And then, like,
Gots to have a check.
after I leave here and I go somewhere else and I spend money, let's say, like,
Hula
I didn't
hoop,
have it,
whatever.
then am I like, well, Bank of America can tell that I was at Dudes and Beer because my eyes are bloodshot and I went to Taco Bell, and that's
Yep.
the reason that
Huh.
the check didn't cash. So it's really the bank's fault. It's not my fault.
See, there's always
It's
going to be
not
those
the
little
bank's
things
fault.
that we don't think
No,
of for this
obviously it's not
particular
the bank's
moment.
fault, but
Yeah.
somebody's going to argue
Right.
that they have a moral obligation if you're drunk to not let you have access to
See,
it.
that's like every
But
time
that's
when
the
I walk into a
dangerous
room.
thing to argue, and that's what I'm saying is that the bank would probably argue the fact of we're doing this in your vested and best interest so that
Yeah,
you
I
don't
don't think
overdraft.
they would because they want the
Ooh, see,
overdraft fees.
And that just whole statement itself is like, I'm the Dark Lord.
Yeah, the
You
big brother.
But the same way, if you have so many overdraft fees in a year, they're gonna cancel your account. Like they'll just do it. They will.
No.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
As
they
crazy
cancel
as I
whatever
am,
savings account.
I haven't fucking overdrafted in probably in 05 or something. Like, yeah, even though Steven is crazy as fuck, he keeps up with his finances.
That's
And-
good.
What were you
Yeah.
talking about overdrafts there, Julie?
Well, no, I don't overdraft, but
No, you
I
don't
had 3
Yeah.
savings accounts, and
I'm responsible.
they have a limit of money that you can transfer out of savings accounts. So back when I used to have issues with the IRS and had to give them money, we
Sure.
used to transfer money from one account into our checking account every month, but we used to do it every pay period. We would take like $220 from that account
Yeah.
and put it into the IRS account. 'Cause we did not want the IRS to have the
Access
numbers
to your
for
straight
all
account.
of it. So we just had this one account that we would transfer the money to.
Yep.
But eventually they shut it down
But
because we transferred out the money every pay period. So we had to get a
and
whole
left
new
nothing
account.
resident.
Right. So we had
Yeah.
to get a whole new account to only transfer it once a month because they were okay if you made the transfer once a month, but if you transferred it 3 times a month, which is what we were doing, that exceeded their maximum number of transfers. Like, you're getting the money the same, you're getting the fees the same.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole stupid thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's absolutely.
Thank goodness those days are behind me, man.
And
Be right back.
it blows my mind the things that they're capable of doing and that they can do. I'm not saying that they would or that it would be in their vested interest to block people from accessing their money, but it could absolutely get to a point where it's like, nope, sorry, you show to be drunk, and we show that you make bad decisions while you're drunk financially.
I feel like it would never happen though because people with a lot of money drink a lot.
Oh, yeah. No. It's a
Like,
common
then no drunk person's ever gonna or no rich person's ever gonna have access to their money.
Yeah, but how often is the rich person going to be bouncing their account while they're drunk?
Yeah, no, never. That's true.
Okay.
To just be like, are you sure that you want to buy this?
That's
Whatever.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, that's true.
there would be a consent screen or something like that. That's like, we show that you're inebriated. Are you sure you want to withdraw this money?
My friend Leslie used to get into trouble online while she was drinking. So she actually set up an algorithm with her phone where she had to solve puzzles
In
before it
order
would
to
unlock
access.
anything, Facebook or text messages, anything. She had to solve math puzzles to prove that she
That's
was sober so that her phone could give her access.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. If you're somebody
Yeah, because she's setting on herself. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
somebody else putting that limit on her.
Exactly. There are things, even on this show, nothing is necessarily verboten. That's like in the, I don't know if, have you ever actually read like the rules of conversation for Dudes and Beer?
No.
It's
fuck
in the
that noise.
It's in the folder behind you, and it used to be
It's in
read
the
like.
folder in my garage, but no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Nope.
It used to be read frequently with guests that like I didn't know, things like that, just so they were like comfortable. But yeah, you know, it's like the concept of there's nothing verboten in this forum, but hey, that doesn't mean we have to like go lowest common denominator. You know,
Right.
we don't have to
See,
like go
you
for the
didn't have to
lowest
tell
hanging
me
fruit on the
that.
tree. Exactly.
I'm very fancy.
Exactly. I know. You're a fancy pants sparkly lady.
Fancy lady.
If
Ooh, I'm
you-
getting my Patriots nails done this week.
What now?
Okay. Julie, I'm gonna drop it right now.
Like it's hot?
I'm gonna drop it like it's been hot for 2 friggin' weeks in my brain, and I can't even not say it. There will be
Whoa,
an
bro,
official
what you got?
there will be an official website announcement coming up Super Bowl Sunday. But
Mm.
prepare yourself, folks. Prepare yourself for 2018 for the Dudes and Beer Fantasy Football League.
Woo!
Fantasy football. I never even played
We're
that.
it's
we're
so
gonna
fun.
not only have
you
our
play
own
it, Julie?
I
fantasy.
came in dead
You
last
played
this
it?
year, but I have won in the past. But this year I came in last.
Julie knows about football
Oh
more than I
no,
do.
Julie! Oh, bro, you have no idea. Julie is a monster. She's a beast.
All I
bro.
know is
She
Eagles
knows her
suck.
business. She knows her
That's all I
business.
know.
So we'll be having. This is the official, unofficial announcement. We'll be having Matthew McPeak, very good friend of mine,
Matthew
who's a
McConaughey.
football fanatic.
Oh, McConaughey?
He will be coming in once
Stellar?
the draft starts. You'll be able to go if you can go preview right now. We aren't launching the league yet,
And
just so you know. But it will be
Get off,
through
Julie. Get off, Julie.
it.
so stinky.
It will be through
Yeah, exactly,
ESPN.com, so that
Oh,
we
good,
have
that's
some
great
of the.
app.
Yeah, exactly. It's got some of the best stats, stuff like that, readily available for people. Nice and easy to join. It's all embedded right there in the Dudes and Beer website under Dudes and Beer Fantasy Football League. Under that tab, you can click it. It'll take you there once the team is built and this season is over and it's time to start teams and all that. That will
season's
take
over.
you. That'll take. Well, yeah, but I mean, it isn't time to like start leagues.
Oh no! That's
Once it's time to
long
register
time
your
off.
leagues, that will take
You'll have to tell
that
me.
page will take you directly to the Dudes and Beer page where you can do your weekly waivers, your drafts, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna
Tom
be
Brady.
we're gonna be
Over
looking
my dead body.
we're gonna be looking for some great sponsors on
I don't
this
even
stuff.
know what I'm talking about, but I like rattling shit off.
talking
See,
hopefully.
that's the name of my fantasy football team is Brady Bitch.
Woo! She's got her team Brady Bitch.
talking.
Brady Bitch. Well, that's my personal team, not my Dudes and Beer
So-
Of
team.
course, I got an
We'll
accent
be-
right there.
We'll be talking to some sponsors about the league
like
and
that.
stuff like that as well. So we're very excited about
Ooh,
that.
we can have league
gonna be
night, go out
awesome.
and watch football.
She got
Hell
Brady
yeah.
Bitch.
It's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be
I love
super fun.
football.
And
football.
you know,
You know, on The
Uh,
Simpsons, they go.
you have a little, Krusty the Clown.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little conflicted with my love of football and
Sorry,
my
that was a
hatred of like
shitty version.
brain
of it.
damage, but oh god, I love
yes,
football.
I know, and I'm the same way. especially growing up in Texas, football, and especially Houston, was an ingrained part of
Well,
our
New
culture.
England, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see,
Patriots forever.
here's the thing.
New-
I don't think you followed up
Oilers.
the Pledge of Allegiance on Monday morning with the Houston Oilers song.
No. Well,
That's
I don't.
what we
I went
did
to
in
private
school.
school. I don't think we.
Hey,
had to do
Chris,
the
what was
pledge.
his name again? I forget his name. The Oilers
Earl
guy.
Campbell.
Who?
Which one?
The
Earl
real
Campbell, Bum Phillips.
No, keep going.
Those are
Like,
old.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There were. I mean,
Yeah.
the Oilers were a team for 30
Oh,
fucking years, bro.
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon.
How can you forget?
There you
How
go.
can you forget Warren Moon? See?
That would be the
Lee
next
Dean.
one, but that's
Turtles.
why I'm asking you. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
also
yeah.
Ernest Givens. There's also
yeah.
David
Yeah,
Klingler.
that's-
There's,
Yeah,
you know, like, come on. There's
But
quite the
at
list
the same,
of Oilers.
but can you imagine this, Chris? As
But-
we rattle these names off, they're thinking, God, like people in
Well,
this day and
and
age, like
that
Yeah.
even of
Troy
itself.
Aikman.
these are old
on-
names. You know what I
on-
mean?
On that note, it's the fact of even this is a part of the digitization of society.
Exactly.
To take football into the digital realm, to take the stats of football into the digital realm, make it something that is cooperative as a game, but also algorithmic in its
Right.
in its nature.
Everything's algorithmic now. Yeah,
and-
everything's an algorithm.
You know, a lot of what's been going on, especially in the news cycle, like I posted today on the Dudes and Beer group about the Glee star.
And you posted like a million things.
I post a lot. I'm a prolific
Yeah,
poster.
today
But
you did
what's
especially because I was
interesting-
trying to read them all because
I
I
like
knew
the
that
guy.
we were
I like
gonna
the guy
have a show.
from 6,000 or some or other. You know, it's like
I've
you know,
had three different people in the last month literally
Showing me a
tell me,
picture of
and
that
two
shit.
of them text me, one of them tell me online. Thank you, say like I go nowhere else to read my news.
Nice.
And it's pretty interesting because, like,
It is.
Yeah, I didn't mean you post too much.
Oh, no.
I meant whatever you're saying,
It's
I
hard
might
to
not have
keep up.
read it
Right.
because
It's hard
I
to keep
read
up.
like probably 2/3 of what you posted
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
I had a
Some
busy
of-
day.
I
Some
feel
of
you,
that
like, you know, I'm
stuff
the
is
same
set
way.
up as auto
Yeah, you're-
posts, absolutely.
I feel
But
you.
quite a bit of it is me like seeing something
Like,
that's
dope
like
post,
an alert
dope
that
post.
posts up, and it's like, whoa. Kind of like the one today where it's like, woman denied emotional peacock. Like
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah,
had an emotional assistance peacock.
It
It
must
was
have
Friends
not
with
been,
allowed
never
on
ducks
United.
in a row.
she must
Yeah,
have not been
yeah,
like
Nicole.
wondering or
Like I
wanting to get
said,
certain
that's-
place at a certain time
Hey,
because goddamn, that's a
Like I
given.
said,
You didn't get nowhere.
like I said,
brother.
that's why I have TSA pre-check for my helper monkey, just to make sure he makes it through.
Yeah, it's important.
At that
and-
point, does the Flyers fucking
But-
say like, let us get money back from this
Also-
because she's holding us up? You know what I mean?
Also,
It's
like
hey,
I responded to my aunt though, who was talking, or my cousin rather, who was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." I was like, "No." What's funny is that peacock would probably be allowed in any restaurant in Austin. Like,
Oh, right. People would bat an eye, but they would let him in.
If
Sure.
you came in with that peacock on a leash and said it's my helper peacock, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it'd be
Legally
all
with
right.
that in. You're all right.
Yeah, kind of like
People
okay,
don't
it's
question
weird,
it,
but
man. We bring Horatio places sometimes with us. People don't question it. I feel like we could
Yeah.
go to HEB and they'd be like,
right,
cool, whatever.
yeah.
I won't
Yeah.
because it's gross, but I feel
Right.
like there's no. We take them to Barnes and Noble. They
Yeah.
don't care.
There's a Barnes on the show. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, if it's a dog
It's
that
not
you
a
can,
Noble.
if it's a dog Horatio
It's my
size
favorite
that
one
you
of
can
the-
carry, absolutely.
Nope.
Right?
I'm not-
yeah. No,
I'm not a
prefer
fan of the-
Guthrie to Barnes
It's all
and
I'm not a
Noble.
fan of the random trip hazard with size 16 feet. You know,
Huh.
where it's like,
He-
hey, how you doing, trip line? Ah.
I train him to be like real stealthy and just get under tall people.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
At concerts, I'll just bring him
At
to concerts.
concerts,
Be like,
yeah.
No.
I
grew
saw
up-
you were.
I grew
I saw
up
you
on
were
a
very,
farm.
very angry at
I grew up
tall
on a farm,
brethren
goddamn-
at the show the other night at the old 97s, Julie.
Rude. It's
Oh,
You
so
were like
rude.
you were like violently angry.
I didn't see this video.
That was so rude. So I went to the
I wish
Rhett
it
Miller
would have
show.
been video. I would have paid money to see video of her.
Okay, what
talking to
happened?
this dude.
I was at the Rhett Miller show, and we got there like
okay, I saw that.
early, like
right.
first people to go
And
because
Jones,
I am very short, so
Yeah.
I get places very early.
Probably that
so that I can be at the
Irish,
front. Yeah.
Irish older lady at the door, maybe,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Hold.
It was a dude this time.
Oh, okay,
but
dude, okay.
I know, you know what? She was next
Yeah.
to him though.
You know who I'm talking about, probably.
Yeah. Hold up, Steve.
No. But
Sorry,
anyway,
yeah,
I go
you.
in and I go to the front and like we're hanging out and we're drinking and everything's fine, and then like the crowd kind of comes in and this like 7 foot tall fucking Andre the Giant gets
Jesus
right
Christ.
in front of me. And like then it's crowded, so there's
And how
no
tall
like,
are you? Like 5'2"?
I'm 5 foot. I'm 5'1".
Now, don't be discriminatory now.
No.
Me?
Some
No.
of
I was
us
there
are.
early.
Yeah.
Don't
Some of
fucking
us
stand
are.
in
I know
front
you're
of a
vertically
short person.
challenged.
I like,
I know
I like,
you're
don't
vertically
stand in front of
challenged.
me.
I like
You
short
don't
ladies.
have the right, in my opinion.
Short ladies
to
are cute to
stand
me.
At the
yeah.
front, if you're 6 feet tall, you
Especially
can
not if
see.
you're there first.
Yeah, you can see if you stand behind me.
Yeah.
And that's what I kept telling the fucking asshole
Right,
giant.
right.
Like, dude, I'm right behind you. You make a
Right.
better fucking door than a window.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
here an hour before you.
Right.
Let me just go in front of you. And he was like blocking me out.
Yeah.
So finally,
You actually told him that?
yeah, I was like,
Oh.
dude, I can't see. Dude, I can't see.
Julie's
Dude, I can't
straight
see.
up, bro.
Oh, okay. Now this takes it to another level because you
finally,
told him.
I'm like, okay, I'm just mad at this point, and that's
Yeah.
stupid because like I love
Yeah.
Rhett Miller and I don't want to be mad.
Exactly.
So I totally ditched everybody that I went with because I'm tiny and I can. And I like scooted through and I went up to the side of the stage and I just chilled and I was like, there was nobody around me and nobody
Yeah.
said shit, and I was like, good, now I have a great view.
Oh,
Now
And
I
it
have
was
a
fun.
better view and screw all of you.
And
But-
nobody said crap about
so
it.
what did
but-
this
Yeah.
guy tell you when you told him
Nothing.
that?
He was just like standing straight ahead. And at one point, this is not a proud moment, I told him that I hoped that he got lit on fire and would die. And he's still did nothing.
Yeah. But that's not like anything within likelihood. You know,
No, it's not.
like
That's
I
a
hope
good-
you get ass
Like-
cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
I like
that's
that.
something that could happen.
You could burn on fire and
you're-
Yeah, I was like, I hope that they lit you on fire and you die, asshole. And then I walked around and like got a better view.
I can picture this. I can picture this.
And Brian and everybody else, they stayed because they could see like my little ball of rage. Just
Oh,
like
the ball of rage. That's the
accelerating.
worst thing ever to see it in a little tiny ball.
It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Dude, I,
Hot inside, no sign. And even Charlie like brought me
my
wine.
friend, I'm here to tell you right now, you have never seen a ball of rage. Like a tiny Boston woman in a ball of rage.
Oh,
God, oh God.
I know, I'm going to see They Might Be Giants on
Oh,
Thursday,
God.
and I'm
known-
already like,
I've known more than
damn.
one in my life.
Oh
And you
God.
will know no
The
ball of rage like that. And I come from
God.
Cajun heritage, man. We are hot blooded, and Cajun women will throw some shit at you, and I'm not
Okay.
lying. But it's pretty rare that they will haul off and punch your ass.
I will.
Damn.
But a Boston woman will haul off and punch your ass, dude.
Man, I'd probably never punch anybody.
I like a woman that does
No,
that.
I
man,
can't
actually.
see you. I can't see you logically punching anybody, Julie. That's like
No, and
me
that's
logically
like
punching
telling him
somebody.
that I hope that he got lit on fire and
Yeah.
died. I thought
Like-
about
She's
it,
got
and I
some
was like,
rage, but I don't see
I
the
don't
other
want to
rage.
like wish that he got hit by a car, and he
Yeah.
was
I
like,
remember-
"That's possible."
I remember when I was in Maine and working at Bubba's Sulky Lounge in Portland, Maine. There was this
What the fuck place
dude.
is that?
number one. It was one of the only bars open at 9 a.m. You could go in if you had an AA chip. Boom, you could change it in for a
Terrible.
beer.
Yeah, cash in your chip for beer. There's
Cash
more than
in-
one place like that.
Gotta
in
be a
England.
1 day chip. Gotta be a 1 day
Yeah,
chip.
That's terrible.
Gotta be a first timer chip.
That's a weird thing. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
about
terrible.
that. Yeah.
I'm not
Really?
gonna say it's a good thing, but they had a lighted dance floor and it was pretty dope. And I put
Yeah,
on some
and
pretty
John
good
Travolta
shows
loved
there. It was good stuff. Ran shows there, but yeah, there was this glass There was this enclosed hallway that you went
Sorry.
through to get into the bar and where the door person was. And I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and as I went outside, one woman was coming out behind me and one woman was coming in front of me. And it was a pretty popular band that I'd worked with for a
Nice
while.
sandwich
and,
there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, both of them had been seeing the same guy.
Oh no!
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it started.
Here we go.
It started.
Yeah.
Like
Ding,
cigarette
ding, ding,
cigarette
ding, ding,
lit
ding.
in the hallway.
I know
with
what
her
you would do
1-inch
with him,
fingers.
donkeys.
Oh, there you are, you whore.
Oh shit!
What?
Oh,
And I'm like directly
That's
between them.
homie.
I'm directly between them, and behind the woman who's saying this is four
Oh.
people deep, and the door person like looking through the door. They can't get through the door because of the
Get
four
up there,
people,
man.
and it's like, there you are,
Oh.
you whore. I knew you've been seeing my man, and like it just became this
Like,
brawl
you know
like
what,
in
man?
between
Your
me.
man, he's my man.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm like
exactly.
trying to push these women away from each other, and the
Oh, I
doorman
can
has
only-
the door open
and
by
I know
about
you
4
go to-
inches.
Yes.
You can hear everything. And
There
at the
are-
end of the
they
night,
do
he
it
was
every
like, dude, that lasted like 5
That-
minutes, and I have no idea how you ended up separating them in a hallway between people and getting one person out the door and being so polite, and the entire time as they were fighting in between you, like grabbing hair and
You're not
punching and
missing here or some
occasionally
straight
hitting
or-
you.
Jerry.
All
You don't need
the only
stitches.
thing you kept saying was, "Excuse me, ma'am, you're biting me, not the person you're trying to."
You gotta bite the whore, lady, not
Oh
me.
God. That's
It's
what
like
I'm
that's
saying.
the only thing I
Dude.
kept hearing you say
No,
was,
you
"You're
are,
biting
bitch."
me,
Excuse
not
me,
the
ma'am.
person you're
biting
trying
the wrong
to."
whore.
You don't fucking get the two together. Shit.
And I remember going to court for it and everything else. Like the woman had been like a
no.
multiple
Oh,
time
wow.
offender
They
with
like
it.
press
like,
charges?
oh yeah. She had
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Lord.
Why
well,
were
I
you
mean,
there?
She
Because you were the
had
guy
been out
there.
on probation for like drunken, disorderly, and beating people up
Yeah,
before.
Of course.
So
God,
those
remember,
those
like,
were
I
the
went to
days, man. Those were the
prestigious
days.
school, and girls would get in fights. They'd talk about fights that had gone on the
they're the
weekend. and
worst.
it's
Oh,
like,
bro, you don't get in a girl fight, man.
There's the word.
Don't get in
The
a girl
girl
fight
fight.
if you can't help it.
Guys even know don't get in
have
a
a
girl
lot
fight.
more internalized anger than
Yeah.
y'all do.
Ooh,
So
Jesus
There's
sometimes
no,
it comes
there's no,
out.
and it's
Jesus
nothing
Christ,
against
I hope
y'all
that,
because
yeah.
what's funny is women are some of the most logical people I know.
Oh, I bet those ladies had a logical
Logical?
explanation of why they had to beat the shit out of each other. And then they've got like centuries
Yeah,
of
yeah. But
down rage that
yeah,
Yeah.
comes out
And-
sometimes. And we just,
but it's
happens.
funny, like with drunk dudes that are in a fight, like you can bring some logic into it and be like, yo, bro, like this was just happening and this was just like, come on, man, like you can at least bring some of that into it. Like
Yeah.
anytime I've had to break up a fight between women, which
Girls
was
are
numerous
cold.
times in my clubs, where it
Ooh,
was
that-
like, there ain't none of
Fuck.
that. You just need to get them the hell apart rapidly.
Just get
like,
out of the way and let them do
now.
their thing. Be all right.
Yeah.
Or just do that and enjoy
They're
the
brutal,
show.
man. They're
But,
brutal.
yeah, that was one of the funniest times of my life was hearing that bouncer at the end of the night. Like, I couldn't get to you, but you handled it so well. Like, you kept getting one
Handled it so
person.
well.
He was like, you kept
Fine.
working one person closer to the door while you worked the other person further
Yeah.
away, and just
That's
kept
exactly
saying,
how you
"Ma'am,
should do it. Yeah, you did it
Always,
right then. Yeah,
Guy,
You're-
girl, drunk,
you're-
sober.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
a-
much the
you're
best
biting
way.
me,
worst case
not the
scenario,
person you're
you
trying to."
You focus on one and then keep the other one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, you did great
But-
then. Yeah.
But
If
at the
that's
same
you know, what's
time,
said.
I feel like our digital world, the world that we live in now, has
Oh, it would
gotten
eat
us
that fight up.
more to that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
I can
gotten
see
us
what you're saying.
it's gotten us more to the point of wanting to
Yes.
have the last word, wanting to be at each other's throat for no good reason.
Well,
You
because
know.
it's like entertaining. We're to the point now.
Yeah, it
where
is the Jerry,
everything
like you were
is the
saying.
Roman forum.
Jerry,
I mean, like
Jerry.
everywhere you go is a potential for spectacle.
Yes, it's very much the train wreck of society.
Yeah, but it's like society, if you look at it just from a social media standpoint, society is just one never-ending train wreck. But that's not the case. We all get up, we all do our shit, we live our lives, we're good people. But people get so like zeroed in on just the videos of people not intervening when people are getting their asses kicked all the time. That it really, if you were an alien, like the two guys from The Simpsons, Kane and Konos or whatever.
Konos and Kang.
Just
into the spaceship deal?
looking at our social
Yeah,
media,
they're like just checking us out.
like we have no hope. But if you separate people from their social media, I would say like 98% are decent. But everybody feels this like anonymity and ability to just be monsters, and I don't know where like that. I can't. Granted, if you're tall and you stand in front of me, I'll be a monster, but I'll fucking do it to your face.
Yeah.
But on the internet, like, I don't understand that. Why would you want to have that? Why would you want to bring somebody down or bring all that negativity just because you're anonymous and you can? Like, at least 100 times a day, I stop myself from being like, oh, you spelled that wrong because you like Trump or whatever. Like, because I'm not going to do that because, they did because they do, but that's not going to be constructive. It's not going to carry the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen, what do you think about that?
Give me a ground on that again.
What do you mean? I mean, talking about the way
anonymity and the bullying online, like the fact that the digital age can bring out kind of the worst in people.
Right. Yeah, for totally like no, I think we're living in an age that where like say like us, I think is like I don't want to actually say that we are the last, but we are definitely part of that in between. That we're like this digital age to where like there are people that that is all about to where everything they receive information wise is from their cell phone.
Yeah, it's just from like social media. It's not like my information all comes from my cell phone, but I subscribe to New York Times and the Washington Post, so it's my cell phone, but it's reputable news sources. But certainly there are people who the only information they get is from Facebook.
And it's almost it is definitely beyond like whether or not you have that reputable news source. Well, but it's
like
the fact that it's all digital. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's
exactly.
And most definitely. And I know you took a pee break, but it's like what I was telling her. what I was telling Julie was
it wasn't me, but
we were like. To
Steve
me,
likes
it's like
talking about pee on air.
He does. This is like Steve-O peeing.
Steve has no inhibition. He doesn't care.
Episode 140, whatever. Steve-O goes pee a lot.
Pee's everywhere. But I tell people at work all the time, whoever designed human beings fucked up. Why did they design something that's got to pee and poop? What the fuck? But anyway,
you gotta have some way to get rid of waste fuel.
But why not? And then so I was saying to Julie while you were gone, and now she's gone. But the thing
I heard
is,
you. I was listening.
I
have abilities you have no idea of, Stephen.
Oh my God, we got
I am omnipresent. I was listening to what you were saying. But so it is the fact of the digital presence, being able to recognize these things.
I have a hard time, and I want to say this, and I've been feeling this for quite some time in the past month.
Speak it.
I'm having a hard time connecting with people in the last.
Are you having a hard time connecting with me via Skype instead of in the studio? There's
no, like people that I come to every day, like like work and stuff like that, because it's becoming to where they are more just like they believe everything that they get their phone and all. And
Well, like Julie was saying, the meme has become truth.
Unfortunately, the phone is corrupted by majority of, AKA Facebook. You know what I mean?
Not even that. Not even that, Steve-O. It's the fact that your phone, despite any media you're using, even if you're using a data stream, even if you just use Google to search stuff, what have
Right.
you, all those things are driven by algorithms. So the more you search something, the more you're going to see that. The more you're going to
Right.
see articles like that. The more you're going to see articles leaning that way. And
Sure.
and that's the issue. That's
Sure.
the A, genius behind marketing of the internet,
Right.
but B, the caveat that we have to have as people, that buyer beware and that understanding.
Right.
Like you were just saying, like Julie was saying earlier, you know, are we driven? Are we the meme or are we driven by meme? You know, and
We're
we've asked
driven
that
by
question
meme.
before.
That's what it
you
is.
know, it's a meme society. You know,
Yeah, we're driven
it's
by.
100. It's what can you say in 168 characters?
Right.
You
We're
know,
definitely
that kind
driven
of stuff.
by.
But
We're
to boil it,
propelled.
well, it definitely is something that moves us. Memes move
Right.
society. That's the definition of a meme.
The powers that be
It's
find
kind
a
of
way
a
to
zeitgeist.
Which is
propel
nuts
us.
that society
Yeah.
can be moved by a
Yeah.
picture and a witty
Like
phrase.
Julie was saying today that, like, I
Well,
think
yeah,
she
but
just
the thing
recently
is,
joined
meme-
Amazon.
That
You know?
that's
I've
just
been
the
part of
modern.
Amazon, but I just
Yeah.
recently started shopping.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's just the
Yeah.
that's just the modern
Eventually,
term
I'm
of
sure
meme.
I will.
Oh,
That's just the
yes.
modern
Yeah.
term of
It
meme.
sounds great, really.
Like meme is really something that is like it's kind of the concept of zeitgeist almost. You know, it's like what is moving, what's happening. That's the
Right.
concept of meme.
The problem now, which you probably talked
we've
about while I was peeing, is that it's like instantaneous. So shit just
Exactly.
moves from
Yeah.
day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour. There's like you're on a total swivel all the time because
Yeah.
there's just all of this coming at you, which is why it is hard to create an ethical code or a moral
Yes.
construct around what's happening. Because as soon as you kind of figure out what it is that you're actually mad about, there's like 11 billion other things that now you can be
Exactly.
mad about, and
Exactly.
they're all kind of reasonable things to be mad
You
about.
could be
but
pissed
like,
off at
you need to
United
pare it
Airlines for
down.
not helping not letting a woman on with a fucking helper peacock.
Yeah, I can't
You can be
imagine
pissed
people
off.
are
Yeah,
pissed
that's-
about that. Like, come on, dude, that is not a
but-
helper peacock.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm
like,
with you.
come on. What is it like?
That's exactly
No,
what happened.
They're not loving animals. They're pretty aggressive. Like,
Yeah.
really, this peacock is your? I don't know.
Yes,
Well,
peacock.
The
Your
best peacock
Well,
in the world.
yeah.
In which case,
But-
I am sorry.
I grew up with peacocks too.
Yeah, they're
But
kind
the
of
idea is
assholes.
that
Yeah, they fan
these
out
are
too.
the memes that move society,
Yeah,
but
like,
these
that shit
They're like
happens
the-
deep.
these
the peacock's
memes
like-
that we're these
Beautiful.
memes that we're
Ooh.
talking
On the farm.
about have gone
Nice.
to totally different depths now. Like even in the last 2 months, look at what's happened with memes. Like and granted, I came up with a poster. I've got it on the computer back there somewhere. But I came up with a motivational poster a long time ago that was a meme picture. And I've come up with quite a few meme pictures, you know, some of them that are just quirky little phrases that look like they're done in stitch work. But this was one that was done up like motivational poster style.
Like a kitty hanging
And-
there.
It was yeah, exactly.
What's it
you know,
about?
Hang in there.
You know, or like the ones that say like excellence and it's like a picture of like a precision
Oh my
flying
God.
team. You know, that kind
Or
of
like
stuff.
a waterfall or
But this
Yeah.
was literally
So, yeah.
a starting line
Of
full
what?
of different colored hands, and at the bottom it just said racists.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
So there's the concept of number one, they're racists. That's what they do. They're racing.
Right.
But there's also the fact of
Yeah.
racism goes beyond color.
well,
Racism exists the whole world over. It exists between Hispanic and black. It exists between Asian and different culture of Asian.
Yeah.
You know, the idea is that it's not about the color of skin. It's about your race, your origin.
I had a bandmate tonight, and I'm not going to be able to do this correctly with all the information. But anyways, my bandmate tonight, my band practice, he's my bass player, and he's in charge of booking
anyway
some shows and some bands or whatever for like things to come. And he's a booking agent for certain events that are coming. And it was this old event, something, I can't remember what it was called, something about racism or against racism. Or
hopefully against it.
Yeah, definitely
let's
against.
Hope.
Yeah,
hope.
right.
It's not like
yeah.
I was just like telling him, you know, like even a thing in my past and stuff like, I don't know, like I had a coworker that I used to work for that at the time, I believe I was in rank above him. And so he was of color, and then he was my best friend also. So it didn't matter anyway. To me, he's a human being, so it doesn't matter what color. But, and then so anyways, our superior would take me aside during like breaks and stuff, and you know, rattle off these racist comments and stuff about him and stuff like that. I eventually turned
acceptable.
Yeah, I eventually turned him in, and
Good
he got out of there, and then I took his place. But you know, I just revealed that tonight. Anyways, it was,
good job.
you know what I mean.
The concept behind that poster was the fact of it's all around us. It's ever present. It doesn't matter what cultural group you belong to.
Right.
There is racism amongst it. And one of the things that digitally has just started happening in our society is the ringing of the bell of #MeToo.
Right.
I have known numerous women in my life.
But I've bet
counseled,
almost every woman that you know would be a #MeToo.
That's the question.
In some way, shape, or form, it depends. I would say some of them would say that they were probably not. There were quite a few. I know quite a few that were definitely. My mom was one of them. That you know, people came up. She was one of the only women that worked in the warehouse, things like that. And people would definitely come up behind her and grab her and talk to her over her shoulder. And she got paid half as much as a man to do twice as much as a man did. Things like that.
Yeah.
So I grew up with a different concept than a lot of people did, but you know, just coming out with Weinstein and the watershed of things coming out afterward, all the way down to the death of this Glee star today, talking about child pornography.
I think was really afraid of that sentencing.
You know,
I think you're right. Totally.
Because he was about to get sentenced.
Makes sense.
Dude,
totally.
Even people like Kevin Spacey, like, good God, Kevin Spacey had
a lot of bad shit, man.
He was the head of the Globe Theater.
Yeah, no, he's an incredible actor.
Unfortunately, I'm waiting for Kevin Spacey.
He was the head of the greatest actors guild.
And I'm not even going to finish that sentence, but everybody knows what I'm going to say.
Right with that Glee guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody knows when you get to that certain point on, you know, it's kind of like,
the Glee guy, there's no
he's already come out.
He did it, I mean.
No doubt. Like, Kevin Spacey has come out and said
he has come out, but to live with it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know,
and he went from being so beloved to being so hated.
You start debating that in your mind.
Which is good, he should be, but I have a feeling that's going to be
the next season. They've literally said the next season of House of Cards will continue without him.
Robin Wright's going to be the lead. No,
yeah, Robin Wright's going to be the lead.
I already knew that.
Yeah. And if you couldn't tell that by the story arc to begin with,
Patelli, I can't remember his first name, but Patelli or whatever. I might even not be saying that right.
The chef, right?
Yeah,
Mario Batali.
The Chew, and I wake up every morning and I watch certain shows, and I don't want to reveal that, but I do watch certain shows.
You're a Chew man, Steve-O?
Yeah, and I watch certain shows. And even he's not on
I don't
that.
even
You
know
know what I
what that
mean? You know, even when
I'm a Judge
dabbling.
Mathis man. I'm not gonna lie. I am a fiend for some
I'm a
judge
Stephen
shows. Give me my
Film
daytime
she's
judges.
over, man.
There's
My
even, there's
wife
even,
know. My wife
I mean,
already
I'm even in
knows.
touch
I
with
have an.
both
I
shows,
have a
which is
personal.
cool.
I have
the,
a
the four
personal
girls, I can't
emotional
remember the
affair
clock, I think or something.
with Judge Millian from the People's Court. Like,
I
there is an
watched that
emotional
MSN
affair that I have with
morning
her.
No, for real. I mean, you know, it's a for real thing, and you know, when you like. You just listen to the other side. I mean, you just
you
I
have
mean,
to
Well,
be
no,
willing.
sometimes
Number
there's
one,
not so much other side.
never.
Number one.
Kevin Spacey legit did terrible things to young
Oh, for
children.
real,
Like,
yeah.
that,
He
there's
did.
no
That
other
was
side.
legit.
Roman
That's
Polanski, he legitimately
Yeah.
did bad things to young people. There's no other
Roman
side.
Polanski
Like,
was supposed to be in the house with.
Good God, he just won a
They're
Lifetime Achievement Award at the
I think
Oscars 3 or 4 years ago.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yes.
Well,
No, I know.
And
I
that's
know,
the thing
so
is like,
jacked
dude,
up.
how
Julie
can, how
finished the whole-
can we as a society, and Julie's
shouldn't.
much more of an award show watcher than I am, but I remember when that
You love
happened,
to
and it
dress
was
up.
like, wait a minute, did Glenn Close just stand up and lead the standing ovation
That was
for
hard.
Roman Polanski's Lifetime
didn't
Achievement
Was
Award?
this this time around?
No,
was
no,
this?
no. It was
Oh, okay.
several
No,
years
this
ago.
was like 4 or 5 years ago. This
Yeah,
was
I
a
didn't
long
watch
time
that
ago.
year because like that's not okay for me. Woody
No, but-
Allen also that's not
Yeah.
okay
I've
for
known
me.
this. I've known this about Roman Polanski for a while, but
Yeah, a
actually,
lot of
it,
people
like
did.
coming to the
It wasn't
head
just
of it,
you,
you know.
Steve-O.
I'm actually reading about it
When
now.
you're that fucking
like,
high up, it's almost like, oh no, that's rumor. You know, people tell you, that's rumor. You know?
Finally now,
Yeah,
women
yeah.
are starting to be like,
No,
And
it's
thank
true.
God. I
Yeah.
mean, even Selma Hayek. Even Selma
Exactly.
Hayek came out.
About
You know, and
whatever his name is. Yeah.
I can easily say, like you said, Julie, you'd venture a guess that most women that you know would be a hashtag Me Too in some way, shape, or form.
in some capacity. Some
Yeah.
of them definitely more violent than others, but in some capacity, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know any woman that hasn't been affected negatively by just being a woman.
No,
well,
there's, what's her name?
granted,
What's
you
her
know,
name? Egger.
when we're talking about let's make a good a good definition here.
Egger.
Number one, objectification
Ew.
happens from both sides, absolutely. As far as just straight out objectification, looking at somebody and going, look at that.
Yeah, but
Right.
I feel
And
like men
locker
definitely
room
say it
talks.
out loud a lot more.
I definitely say there are some women that say it out loud too.
Sure,
I
some.
work some hair
Yeah.
conventions
Not
and
most.
things
Like, not
like
me,
that.
but I'll think that shit.
Hey,
I'll say it like to my phone,
Yeah.
which is not
I-
hurting anybody.
I work some hair conventions here and there, and I'm here to tell you there are many hairdressers that come up, men and women both, that just really love the color of my hair and have to run their hands through it and make sure it's
Yeah, do you
real.
feel violated or harmed or scared for these
Wouldn't say
interactions?
No.
There you go. Then you don't
There's
really
so
relate.
many. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many things
And
on that.
Ryan every Tuesday tells me that I should take an Uber to the studio. And every Tuesday I'm like, no, it's fine, I'll just drive. And I
Right.
don't think that he really understands that women, it takes
Are
a lot
just
more
as
bravery to do something just like taking an Uber because you never know. I have been groped in cars,
God.
Absolutely.
on the
Absolutely.
train, on buses. Like,
Yep.
I had to stop running because I had a stalker.
I
Like,
know men that have
doesn't
been
happen
drugged
to
on
most
stage.
people.
Holy shit.
So for Brian to be like, oh, just take an Uber because you drink too much. Like, no, it's not that easy.
No.
I'll just sleep in the studio. Like,
No.
I don't know who's on the other end of that Uber.
And
I'm
hey,
not like, and that
And
is
hey,
all women.
you do know
Hmm.
that you have a beautiful Minnie Mouse key to the studio, and you are welcome
I
to do
do.
that anytime.
I do.
Anytime
Yeah.
you feel like you need to, doesn't mean if it's any night of the week. You come, you stay on the couch, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Hey, you're Steve and I just hang out for a few hours.
Oh,
and
but
go
it's
home.
more
I know. Exactly.
'Cause
And the
I'm
thing
Steve-O
is,
is not all men.
I'm upset. Nobody's groping me. I'm upset.
I have, well, and you know,
You're taking the wrong
I
Uber.
put something lightly, but literally, like, I had a
Bad joke.
girlfriend that I had for years that was molested as
Didn't
a
even
young
catch.
child. I had another girlfriend that was molested by somebody else and abused by somebody else that she knew. I know many women, and during my time as a youth minister, counseled many women who had been raped, uh, who had gone through horrible things. And it's sad and it's horrifying, the objectification of women in our society and the victimization of women in our society on
That's
a regular
that.
basis.
You know what? If I was in your position, it would be very hard for me. If it was you, that I was in your position and being the only one or first one to hear this information, like they're telling me this information. You know what I mean? I would want to go kill that person, hit that person, or something. You know what I mean? Like a little girl is telling me this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a normal response.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's
like
an
Jesus
absolutely
Christ.
human and normal
Like you're
response.
just telling me that you've just received this information and have in the past from people of such circumstances.
Yeah.
That would be very hard for me to control myself, to
It's
control
not
my
easy,
impulses.
But
you know?
and that's a
We
good
have
impulse to
NASA
have.
of the fucking Olympics. And I always, in my mind, my mind, I always question the Olympics. But
That
guess
was
what?
Yeah.
Nuts. Those poor.
I always,
girls.
Jesus Christ, guess what?
Ugh.
I'm a young teenager. Hell, they look kind of fine to me. Guess what? They're going to look kind of fine to older men. And guess what? You know what? Nobody questions that. And my impulses must be more or so same of the same male sexual that I am. And if I'm feeling this, they have to feel that. Because
you
we're
would never
male.
act on it?
No, but what I'm saying is that that's a
Exactly,
moral
Julie.
thing.
No, so
That's
I
a
don't
moral
think that
thing.
you
That's a
have
moral.
sexual
No, that's the thing. What I'm saying.
14-year-olds.
What I'm saying is
No,
a moral.
That's
That's a
that
sexual
goes.
attraction.
Yeah, that's
That
wrong.
goes.
Which is-
That goes
which-
beyond the
that's
sexual.
nature.
Here's the
Right.
thing, Steve-O.
That's
That
just a
goes
nature
beyond
thing.
the sexual response thing.
Right.
That goes.
Right.
Number one, he was a doctor, so yeah, there's a moral thing there.
But what,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that
Even if it was Joe off the
control
street,
it.
there's a moral.
That
It
can't
goes.
thing.
control
It goes
their
to.
thing.
It goes to a psychological issue.
Right.
And he put
Right.
himself
It
in that
goes-
position of power.
Right.
Oh,
It goes
Yeah.
to
those
a
poor women.
predatory psychological issue, the same way
Right.
that any pedophile or anything
Right.
like that. The same way.
Exactly.
Same
Right.
way I've said about pedophile priests, it's not the fact that they're celibate. It's the fact that they are a pedophile
Like
and they are
you.
a monster and that they know
Like
how
there's
to,
a-
I've been through
there's
the
a
psychological
fine line.
profiling and exams. It ain't easy.
Right.
And if you can
Right.
do that and you are that, you are a straight up monster.
Can't
Right.
be that
And,
easy
Right.
if that many have made it through.
Right. Right.
Not that many have made it through, believe it or
Dude,
not.
I grew up in Boston.
Okay,
3 out of 2 of my parishes. So that's 3 out of 5 in 2 parishes.
I
That's more than
understand.
half.
but
That's a lot.
there are many more parishes than what you belong to in the Boston area, though. You're talking about,
Well,
like,
yeah, maybe they didn't have
hundreds and
such good
hundreds.
screening.
and unfortunately, like I've made the point before on Dads and Beer with Michael Davis and Joshua Davis, most of those cases existed with people who became priests before the mid '80s, when they started doing extreme psychological profiling. Like, I went through 3 days of psychological examination before I was even
I feel like they
considered to
should
be a
check in
seminarian.
with you. Not you personally, because you're not a priest.
No,
but,
they do.
Like, I think they should, like, once a year make you, like, redo your shit.
Oh no, they
Because,
do.
like, But
that's
they
the
couldn't
thing.
with those guys.
is
Like,
that-
there are some
What's that?
weird
Is
men.
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
while you're
Right.
in the
Now?
seminary,
Like,
number
you know?
one,
No, I mean, like, once you're a priest, they should check in once a year.
they do. They do.
Yeah, but it's probably like other priests who just like check the boxes and they're like, nah, I've known you for a long time, you're fine, you know?
It's not that. It's psychologists and things like
I like
that.
that.
And they're
Coffee.
priests and stuff, but it's not about checking a
Smells
box.
good.
I was really
I
tired.
like that.
It's not about checking a box because it's
That's-
always suicide, homicide, pedophilia.
Yes.
those are the three
Catholics
things.
are
Suicide,
trio.
homicide,
No.
pedophilia. Okay.
If you hear about that, sorry.
Yeah.
It's reported. Done. Over.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean by
Period.
that? Where's
So,
it go? Where'd it go?
It's the
Where'd
fact-
it go?
They
It's the
move from
fact-
church to church.
It's
So
the fact
you mean
of
it's
the
dead?
same
The store's
the
dead?
same way there are just as many
You
there
would never admit that, but yes.
there are just as many rabbis, just as many married.
No.
Oh, no, go look at numbers. There are just as many in every other religion. The only difference is one of them is celibate, and it's pretty focused on by the media. However, they were shuffled around. It was horrible. It was wrong. They were not the majority of priests.
I think it's still happening. Actually, I'm sure it's still happening.
I'm not saying it's not still happening.
Sure, right. I mean,
But to say that it goes up to the upper ranks of the Vatican or things like that, like, no, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it for sure
They
did.
don't.
I mean, look,
No.
Cardinal Law is now, he got shuffled to the Vatican. That's a cardinal because he knew what was going on and he did nothing about it. That was the Boston Cardinal. You probably don't know.
Yeah, no, I know.
But they
all
moved
about
him.
cardinal law. I mean,
Anyway, he fucking confirmed me,
Yeah.
and he was complicit in all
Absolutely.
of the stuff.
I understand that. I firmly understand that.
Catholics,
to know-
y'all are crazy.
Yeah.
No. That's
Please
like
be
no.
crazy.
Here is the prime example. The prime example is like saying that President Trump knows exactly what the governor of Texas is doing every moment.
But Cardinal Law did literally know, and he was the
He
next one
did.
down to the Pope.
He did. Cardinal Law was not the next one down from the Pope.
Well, I
There,
mean,
there are
cardinals pretty
thousands of
close.
cardinals. Thousands
Right.
of cardinals.
Sure.
Thousands.
But I gotta think, like, let's say Greg
true
Abbott
that. Yeah.
knows
There are
that
many
there's
more
something
cardinals.
insane
There are many
going
more
on in
cardinals than
Texas.
there are governors. And the president does not know what every single governor is doing in his state as far as laws.
I feel fairly sure that the Pope knew what was going on.
No.
I don't know that he was necessarily complicit. He probably tried to
No.
change things, but I think that probably he had an inkling. There's no way that he did have an inkling.
well, I mean, I guarantee you there was some whisperings, there was something. And most definitely the man who came in after the death of John Paul II
Oh, yeah.
definitely
He was not
brought Cardinal
the
Ratzinger. I mean, I had dinner with him, but when he was a mere cardinal, but he was actually on the Pope's board of sexual ethics, and there was a reason why he was brought in, and he was brought in at that time to take care of that scandal, get it straightened out, and be like, okay, fix this shit, get rid of it, make sure it's taken care of properly, that we take care of people, and I'm out of here. Thank you, service done. That was pretty much the reason why he was there, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't believe
and
a
it
whole lot of
wasn't to- it wasn't to
investigation when it
sweep
comes
it
into
under the rug.
pedophilia.
No.
Oh no! Well, and there's a lot of investigation when it comes to
And that's
the
kind of
Catholic
like
Church.
maybe like instinct,
But it's,
you know.
when
like,
it comes to other industries, like people like Bryan Singer, when it comes to Hollywood, things like
Yeah.
that, like
Well, yeah, you look at like
the-
Kesha, even with Dr. Luke.
Yes,
I mean, that's not
exactly.
pedophilia, but that's like so wrong.
Good
and,
God,
and she
Usher!
still beholden
It came-
to him.
It came out, not only did Usher have the video many years ago with like the underage girl and the shower
Oh,
curtain
what?
and the peeing,
Really?
urination.
I
However,
don't know if I knew about
he
I
that.
mean, R.
apparently-
Kelly still has a career.
Oh,
That's
God,
the one, R.
Jesus,
Kelly.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
I was
Usher.
gonna
I'm not
say, I
trying to
didn't
know
defame
Usher
you. It
was-
was R. Kelly.
Usher.
It was R.
Wow.
Kelly.
About peeing on girls.
Because-
Shit. Aaliyah
because-
was one of his
No.
ones, and
Here's
she
the
became a
thing.
star before she
R.
died.
Kelly. It came out like 6-7 months ago
She
that R.
was up
Kelly.
or younger.
It came out 6 or 7 months ago that R. Kelly had like 5 or 6 girls that were living in his compound
Yeah.
Wow.
that like whose
Basically-
parents
Yeah.
knew that they were there.
Yeah,
And
before
were, like,
all this,
living under
Aaliyah,
mental
he was
control.
with Aaliyah, who was underage.
But that guy is still
Who
not
died?
in prison, and those girls
Yeah.
were not
Right.
adults.
Of course.
I don't understand.
Because money is
It's
like
like
Because
fucking
they're
with
there
the
with parental
reality,
permission.
like-
Repulsa
It's
said,
nuts.
the color of
It's
justice
It's
is
crazy,
green.
and that's just it, Julie. Like to think about that, to go back and think about the episode that we had with Billy Joe Kane from Radical Empathy, the VR company that makes the software. I want to have him on again soon. We need to contact him. The software that does the replication of people who have been trafficked sexually. and you get to experience it from their point of view, from the point of kidnapping through all. And it's a detective story. Like we don't really see that side of things, unfortunately, all
Right,
too
right,
often.
right.
And granted, the statistics are that there are probably just as many cases as men to women. It's just that they are not reported. Or if they're
Right.
reported,
Right.
it's the fact that they are not taken into consideration. I know numerous guys that
Right.
were sexually harassed by people at work,
Right.
that were told,
That's
what to
definitely
do.
not the majority, though, as your
Not
pay
the
scale would
majority.
yeah.
show.
Absolutely not.
It's kind of like
Absolutely not.
we never leave a man down. We
And
never leave a man.
the
It's like it doesn't matter if it's one or many. It was one, and it happened.
I
Kind of
I
deal.
think the beauty,
It did happen.
the scary beauty of the hashtag Me Too movement is that it has brought so much attention so fast.
Yeah,
And
I think
it's
it's
a
awesome.
great thing. It's a
And there you go
great
with the
thing.
digital. That's the digital.
Yeah. And that is the digital
All right.
actually
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
using its
Yeah.
morality
Yeah.
for good. And I can see that there is potential for it to sort of turn into a witch hunt, which men
Yes.
have been saying.
Well, and there have been a couple cases like Garrison
But they're
Keillor.
easily cleared
know,
up.
Yeah. But even Garrison Keillor, like, he just gave up his job. He was like,
Yeah.
this was something that happened 20 years ago, and I wrote a letter of apology to the girl when it happened. Like, we
But
were
it doesn't make
backstage.
it okay. Like,
Right.
sorry.
Oh, no. It wasn't anything of harassment. It was the fact of they were backstage in the theater, and he went to say, great scene. And as he did that, like, the back of her dress unzipped. And he wrote her in a letter of apology, like, I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable. And they were cool and worked together for like 20 years. And then suddenly it comes
Right.
forward as
Suspicious.
something, and it's like, well, if that gets rid of a 70-year career, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. If that makes her feel whole and complete, and that's something that years ago we got past, and we've worked together for 20 plus years since,
Seems kind of
I
like one of
feel
those.
like the really good positive that's come out of it is like the Aziz Ansari situation.
Yes.
That you can
Exactly.
see like bad dates
Yes.
are it's not just a bad date.
No,
you gotta,
no.
like,
No, the uncomfortable date is not
Right.
just an
Pick
uncomfortable
up
date.
on that. Like
The
I think
Louis
that
C.K.
that
situation.
This is what I
is
saw.
like the kind of
Yeah.
best thing that's come out of it is
Yes.
that women are seeing this like I don't know anybody who hasn't been in literally that exact same situation.
McGowan's
at
been
least a
on
few
like fucking
times,
crazy
like,
lately.
To
Yeah.
be like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't okay. Like I felt really bad about that.
I even
felt
saw it
really
today
weird
before I
about
think.
that. And it turns out that's not actually okay. Like I think that's
Yeah.
great that the movement has given
Yes.
billions of women the ability to say, I knew
Right.
that I was right and that
Right.
was fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's awesome. And now guys kind of have that fear that now they know that we know that they've been kind of assholes the whole time.
Well,
Not-
some of
Not
them.
you, not
Some
you,
of them,
not
yeah.
Brian.
Right.
But, like,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
a lot of them, like
we
a
all
lot
know
of
the
them.
pushy guy. We all know. We
I mean,
also
I'm
we
one
also all
person,
know the
and
we
I
also
can name at
all
least
know the
What's
5
your
tricky
name?
girl.
experiences. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm one person. So
Absolutely.
I got
We
to
know-
imagine
we know
most
some of
my
the same
friends
people,
have that,
Julie.
you know, dude, you know some of those people.
We
yeah.
know some of those people, like,
It's like,
mutual.
hey, what's the
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
woman that won the most Academy Awards for in one of her movies is Silkwood. It goes way back.
Oh
You
God,
know who I'm
that's a
talking-
Julie
Meryl
thing,
Streep?
man. I don't know.
Anyways,
Probably
she
Meryl
was
Streep.
just a woman that won everything. And,
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, exactly. Meryl Streep. Yeah,
feel like I
exactly.
said that already.
Silkwood.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie.
Twice.
And it was a true story on the documentary
Hey,
on that.
Steven, is it Meryl Streep?
Yeah,
Is it-
yeah,
is
it's
it-
Meryl Streep, bro.
Streep, comma,
See
Meryl.
how I remember? I remember.
Anyway, what did Ms. Silkwood do?
Oh God, Jesus Christ. Anyways, what I'm getting at is that you have people like her. You have which is a big one right there because she goes so far way back, right? You know what I mean? So then you got, Rose McGowan, who's on the train tonight and lately, even today before I came over here, which is great, man.
Pretty.
You know what? It's
pretty talented.
What train was she on?
The train is to expose what they're doing, right? You know what I mean?
Fucking expose
Expose it, exactly. I'm right there with it. Guess what? Meryl Streep, 1980. Where were you on that?
Yeah, Meryl Streep.
Where were you at all these years, brother?
I know.
So the only thing is, guess what? When you keep your mouth silent,
but
you give victim to other people that are getting the same abuse because you didn't fucking say shit.
I hear you.
Hold on, Stephen. Hold on.
But
because you cannot step into the victim's mind like that.
That's the thing. Like Meryl Streep in the 80s was not
victimized
Meryl
in the same
Streep
way
of today.
Yeah.
So like that was
she
her
wasn't allowed.
livelihood.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it wasn't how it is now.
Exactly.
And I agree to an extent. Like I think that she's one of the few that
speaking up is the best and only thing you can do.
Hung out with the wrong people sometimes, and like some of Hollywood's people, like Jodie Foster, some of them to me are a little bit complicit because they continue to work with people when they know better.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also think that like we don't have that same criticism of men. So like we don't think like, what the fuck, Ben Affleck? You knew your brother was an asshole, but you're still his brother, like
you can't do anything about
Damon go to movies. No, but he could have outed him. He could have like just not defended him, just like Meryl, just like Rose.
But
just
if Meryl from the fucking
and once again,
in the 80s, nobody was going to listen to her because
exactly.
But
it doesn't matter.
But the thing is, once again, just like Meryl,
had to do something.
She probably did, and probably
would you still subject your own body to that amount of whatever for your success and money? Well, at that point, what does that call you?
Maybe
you doing that for money in your body.
The thing is,
what do you call that?
I don't think that you understand women though, because like I worked.
You can't do that.
I'm not gonna say where, but my last job, my first boss at my last job, was a sexual harasser, huge. But you have this job and the benefits are really good and the money is really good, and we went to HR and HR did nothing about it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you going to not have this job and not make this money and not have these benefits just because this guy
that's just it.
Stands up and he gives you better reviews if you wear a low-cut top or he like literally invites you out on dates or makes dirty comments. So
what do we got to do to fix this?
So that's not the woman's fault. Like I still needed to provide for my family, and so did every other. He had 11 out of 13 of his team were women.
There's a jink in the jank here somewhere.
And that's the same. It's a bigger scale with Hollywood because the pay scale is bigger.
Right.
But it's still their job. Like, should she give up her job and should she give up her money and her livelihood because this asshole is doing these things? She shouldn't.
No.
If she told somebody and
the thing is, Julie, my argument, especially with Ben Affleck, especially like you were saying with his brother, is the same thing. What's he supposed? Just because his brother is an asshat.
Right, exactly.
Does that mean he's supposed to give up his livelihood? Does that
not any more than like Rose McGowan should,
if he
or
outed his
Meryl
brother,
should.
he would have gone through the same thing.
But maybe he shouldn't like produce movies for his brother.
Yeah, well, true. I'm not going to say that.
But it's harder if you're looking at it from the woman's standpoint.
I think at this point,
should they not take jobs then? Should they not make money?
I think at this point in this time and age that it should be a safe house to be like, women speak up now. When it happens,
Thank
speak up
goodness
now,
it's
and
happening.
everybody at this point have this, and we need to go after these
And we gotta believe
Weinsteins.
them.
We need to go after these
Absolutely.
Scott Bales or whoever is.
Is Scott Baio on the list now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
according
that's
to whatever
amazing.
Eggert, her name is Eggert,
Oh,
whatever.
I believe her. He's always seemed weird to me.
And then I'll go, but it has to be known at the moment it's happening. You know
I'm
what I
in
mean?
charge.
You
Well,
know,
I
yeah,
think that we
yeah,
have
Sergeant Sarge, yeah, exactly, and he was obviously,
plays.
you know, yeah, because
I think we have.
it's a
We are
horrible thing that
getting
happens,
there.
and then it's like we hear about it now, but then it's like, okay, yeah, we're cool with
The
it then in
problem
a way,
is,
not
though-
cool with it, but it was like, yeah, your career makes it
Yeah.
seem like you were cool.
Hold
So
up,
it's
Steve.
like,
Because what were
Yeah.
you going to say, Julie?
I think the problem is that the women come forward
right,
and people are like, where's the proof? And it's like, well, it
yeah.
happened in a time when nobody listened to me, when nobody
Sure.
believed me,
Sure.
when
Yeah.
I didn't have a voice.
Right.
So now that people understand that this is a problem and they're
Right.
listening to me,
right.
you need to believe them. When somebody
Sure.
tells you something, you need to believe
At
them.
the
have
very
these-
And that is
least,
all
at the-
men need to listen and they need to believe
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
at the
Because,
very
like-
least, you need to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Right.
just believe them because
Yes.
most of them are coming anonymously. Most
Right.
of them have nothing
I'm
to
not
gain
saying that I
Yeah.
from
don't
this.
believe them. I'm saying they need to.
No, I know you're
as
not.
soon as it happens, come up to
And
me.
I think that now
This guy needs to
things
be
are
dealt with.
changing. Thank
Weinstein, he should have been
goodness
dealt with.
that this is the new normal. And
Right.
I
Yes.
love the internet for this one reason.
Yes.
That it is the new normal because people can immediately be like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
And
Now,
everybody believes them and everybody's
granted,
starting to accept them
y'all-
and the tide is turning.
Y'all
Yeah.
That's a
both know
great
my
thing.
opinion. I don't think that the concept in and of itself of doxing is necessarily a healthy thing or a good thing among society. I don't think it leads to an educated or fair or balanced point of view.
No, you personally don't have
However-
to go after somebody, but if
Exactly.
somebody tells you something, you need to believe them.
You need to, yes, at least give them the benefit of the doubt in their story until you hear another side of the story
Right.
or what have you. You know, you need to,
I like that all
you
the
said,
other sides
believe
of
what
the
they
story,
say.
though, have just been like, my bad.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yep, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
You're just another asshole.
If
Like,
I try
yeah.
to sympathize with these people, you know, on
I can't sympathize with. I can't.
you know, yeah.
I can empathize with the victims. I can in no
maybe
way
sympathize, I'm
whatsoever
looking for-
sympathize with. I would much rather
Right.
empathize than sympathize
Right.
because empathize
That's what I
means
was
like
gonna say.
you
I think I used the wrong word. Yeah.
like sympathize to me
If
just
I
means
was there,
feel sorry for
trying
somebody.
to put
I don't
myself
wanna
in
feel
that
sorry.
place,
Exactly.
as them. Yeah, if I was
Exactly.
there in their place, I would only say, "Gosh, damn." I need to get this out there. I need to put this. I need to expose
Glad
this.
you would only
know
say
what I mean?
gosh
and
damn.
you
know what I mean?
can because
Yeah.
you come from a place of believability because you're a white dude.
Right,
And you
yeah,
can say
yeah.
things and people will listen to you. I was assaulted in college and nobody believed me. Nobody cared. Nobody listened.
Oh yeah.
I had a
of
couple
course.
people that actually like
That's
came
the
to my
typical-
rescue and literally like saved me, and that
Right.
was great. They were
Typical
fine.
college.
But I
Unfortunately,
wasn't even drinking at the time. Like
No.
there wasn't like a drunk college girl situation. Like this was
Huh.
a bad person who
Yeah.
assaulted me. And until like last year, I still had friends who were friends with this fucker. And then thanks to the Me Too movement, they started reaching out to me and they're like, I am so sorry that I didn't listen to you, that I didn't believe you, that I didn't recognize you. And it's like, it's cool. It's so cool that
Probably
this movement
because
is
maybe
giving people a
something happened,
voice.
yeah.
Yes.
But
exactly.
I had a voice 20 years ago. I told you the truth and you
Why
didn't
didn't
listen.
you listen to me?
So now that society is listening, don't forget this moment and don't stop listening.
That's right.
Right.
That's
Like
right.
believe
Right.
them and listen to them and
It's-
defend them and protect them.
That's right. You
Because
can't
it's just still
you can't
happening.
you cannot just use this moment as an echo of the past that is impacting us
See,
now.
see,
Right, exactly. Like I'm over it now. I'm in my almost 40s.
Oh
See,
yeah,
It doesn't
no,
happen
you've
anymore,
dealt with
but-
that trauma years ago.
see,
Plus,
the-
it's not like a recurring trauma
The
anymore.
thing that I'm coming-
I'm not a target anymore, really.
The thing that
Yeah.
I'm coming to grips to with on Hollywood is like Meryl Streep. Okay, she's been around forever. She's, you know,
Well, and the thing
she's
is,
the
though,
one that I'm
Steve-O,
having
and
an
I
issue
think
with. She's the one I'm having an issue with.
here's the thing, Steve. I think the
Meryl
idea
Streep.
is beyond. Here's
She's
the idea.
the one
Here's
that
the
has the
thing.
most, whatever.
Well, boycott
Well,
Meryl Streep.
yeah.
Who cares? Do you?
Well, she
Yeah.
should have came out because if she came out, perhaps, who's to say? Let's say,
But who's to
oh,
say
nobody,
she
She
doesn't
couldn't
come
her
out?
at
excuse,
the
her
time,
excuse,
Steve.
nobody, listen to me. Nobody's
Steve,
listening to me. But
I
did
am.
you come out? Did you come out?
She
Keyword,
might have.
did you come out?
She might
Did you
have.
come out?
Steven.
Could that have saved anybody else afterwards?
No.
Booyah. Right there.
No.
We would not
No.
know if you would have prior.
No.
She might have come out at the time, and
Nobody.
people-
She might have
Stop.
not. She hadn't.
Listen.
She's
Listen.
coming out now because everybody else. But
Great.
that's what I'm getting
She
at.
finally
think
has
that's
the
what I'm
courage
getting
and the
at.
safety to do
I
so. Good
don't
for her.
understand.
Steven.
Yeah, I don't.
I want you
think
to
that
do me
she-
a favor. Do me a favor real quick, and I want you to be honest because we're on Skype and I can see you, brother. I want you to count for me on one hand the number of women you know that have been raped, molested, or taken advantage of when not wanted.
Oh, you're gonna need all your
Probably
hands
3.
and toes.
At
Three.
least.
Okay.
At least. Yeah, a
Because
lot of them. Yeah,
I-
a lot of them.
Three.
A lot of them.
Three.
Yeah.
Three.
How many even went to the police?
But who
None of
keeps
them.
going
How-
with their career to keep pursuing things?
She's
She didn't-
entitled to a paycheck.
She did not
She's-
do that in order to victimize other people, brother. That's what you're missing out on.
Victimize
Okay.
herself.
No, the man
She's
that
hurting
did that
herself.
to her
She did.
victimized people.
If,
she didn't
if somebody
victimize
hurts me, I'm not
anybody.
going to go back to the same thing that
That's
hurt me.
great.
And I'm
Here's
gonna
here's the
report
thing,
that. I'm gonna
Stephen.
report that.
Stephen.
This son of a
Stephen,
bitch did this. to me.
You have.
Is
and
this
at the
not a
time,
reality? We're not
here's
in a
the thing.
reality.
You.
If something hurts
We
me,
are.
I'm gonna
We are.
report this shit.
Here's the real reality.
And people listen to you.
Here's the real reality, brother. And you know I listen to you, and you know I love you. You and I have a totally different, unfortunate value in society
Actually, it's a four
than this
value in
than this
society.
beautiful being sitting across the table from you, and the one that I'm married to.
Yeah.
We're listened to differently, bro.
Yeah, you are.
Than
Even you
than
are.
what your mom is
With your
listened to.
burping and your
Yeah.
do-rag.
Than what your
and
mom
your
is listened
scruffiness
to.
And your long hair.
Than what my mom is listened to. The men at your mom's work are listened to more than your mom, despite her years of experience.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's just a fact, and it's unfortunate. And most men are not enlightened. Most men don't understand the fact, the wisdom
Hell,
of
even
women.
Chris mansplains sometimes. It's just
I
inherent
do.
in your
I
DNA.
do, and I'm sorry when I do. I don't mean to mansplain.
That's not-
Wait, what do you mean the mansplain? What's that?
But
to
thank
be like,
you for calling me
actually,
out.
whatever, you know.
Yeah. Well,
And somebody says
actually.
something, and it's like, well, let me give you my expertise, even though you're the
Yeah.
expert
Oh.
on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I got you. And then,
Yeah. I'm not
Don't be
going to
so
deny
hard
that.
on
I do
Meryl
it.
because
I do it. Yeah.
it's not her fault that these
Yeah.
bad things happen to the women. It's the men that raped the women.
No, it
fault
definitely
that
is.
bad
You have-
things happen.
it-
Here's,
The
here's
thing is-
here's the
The
problem
thing is,
is
you
that
have
both
no
of you and my
idea the
fucking
mentality
talking
of the
right now.
victim. You have no
It's
idea
my
the
fucking-
mentality of the victim.
Gonna let me speak. The whole
Go
problem of the conversation right now is that you think that I am a problem with Meryl Streep. My problem is the guy
said
that
you
did it
did.
to her. But I
You said
wish
you had a-
I
You said
wish-
you had a problem with Meryl
There you
Streep,
go.
bro.
There you go. There you go. You're gonna let me talk. I have a problem with the guy that did it with her. She
To
should have
her.
came to me
To
first
her.
when it happened.
Okay.
Keywords? You got
But-
it. You got it. You got it.
So
You
you-
got
But
it.
you said that your problem was with Meryl
It's not her
Streep because
problem.
she
It's
didn't
not-
come
it's
out
not
when it
Meryl
happened.
Streep. It's the problem that it happened, and I need to know who's doing this. Now you're telling me this 20, 30, 40 years later, whatever it is.
Because
I
she
don't
was-
care
I'm-
when you have the,
Listen.
Steve, I don't care when you have the courage to come out, dude.
I'm after the guy that's doing wrong here. So it's like, now you're telling me now? Why didn't you tell me then? That's the
Yes.
problem I have. So
That's what
it's
I'm
not so
saying.
much-
You can't
I
be
love the
angry
woman.
about
I love
that.
the
You
woman.
can't be
She is
upset
innocent
about
to
that.
What she had, yes, she's a victim. Yes.
Yeah.
right there with her.
Absolutely.
Why didn't you tell me fucking in
Well,
1980?
because you don't
You
get
know
to
what I mean?
dictate
Why
when
didn't you tell
people
me
tell
then?
their
Shh,
stories.
listen,
Why didn't you tell me then?
Stephen, hold on for just a second and actually listen to the victim on the other side of the table from you.
Yeah,
From the
you don't
point
get
of view of
to
a victim.
say when she gets to tell her story. I know that it would be awesome if every time something bad happened to somebody, they would tell about it and justice would be served.
Right.
But in my experience,
Right.
every time I've told about something, no justice was served. People just got mad at me for telling it.
Yeah.
So Meryl is
Sure.
older than me, which means
Right.
that she's had an extra several decades
Right.
of people not listening to her or
Right.
not caring what it is that she
Maybe
had
she
to say.
doesn't get 2 more
So-
roles because she complains.
She probably
Right.
had this experience, and then she thought back on the last 30 experiences
Right.
that
Nobody
she had,
gonna listen to
and
her,
nobody
right?
cares. So why should
Right.
she tell anybody? It's
Right.
not going to change anything. Like
Yeah.
I'm right
it doesn't
there.
matter.
I'm
So
right there.
it's not her fault. It's the asshole men
That's
Right.
it.
who knew that the Meryls of the world had
Yeah.
already been beaten down to this point
True.
where we all knew that nobody cared and nobody was going to listen and nobody was going to be on our side anyway.
That's
So
right. So
they
why
took
even
that
complain?
for advantage.
Right.
Because they knew that we were already quiet and we were
Yeah.
already complicit and we were already silent. So they may as well just go for it
Well,
because
and
they
it's-
knew
Yeah.
that we weren't going to do anything. And on the rare occasion that somebody did believe us, by the time we got to court, it goes
Yeah.
nowhere anyway. So, like, what's the point? Then, like, I tell you, I waste years of my life, I'm embarrassed, and it's expensive, and
Yep.
still nothing happens. Why am I going to keep talking about it? Why am I going to keep trying to make
Yeah,
things
right.
change?
Very
Like,
true.
thank
Very
goodness
true.
now things are changing. Thank goodness now people are listening
Okay.
and people
That's
are
right.
paying attention.
That's
But
just it.
30
You have
years
to.
ago, people weren't paying attention. They didn't care. They weren't
Yeah.
listening.
Right.
And they didn't believe them. They were like, oh, these bitchy women. Oh, these
I'm just-
powerful women. Oh, these complaining
know,
women.
oh,
Here's my
whatever.
problem. Here's my problem.
Yeah, whatever women. Whatever
My
they
problem,
wanted
you
to
know what my
put.
problem is that it's not the women that are talking about this stuff. In fact, that's a thumbs up. It's the fucking the rats that are doing this. And
Sure.
yeah, the ones that are causing this, the ones that are doing this, the fucking more
Yeah, super
Yeah.
wrong. Those guys are rats. You're
That's
right.
what I'm trying to get at. So I'm on the same page as you
It would
guys.
be awesome
That's
if
the
Meryl
same ones
could
I'm
have
getting,
said,
yeah.
this guy did this, and everybody was like, fuck you, rat.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
right.
that's the reality, and that's awesome.
So only now
Yeah.
this is
But it
coming out.
was
and it's
not
fucking
the
ridiculous.
reality back then.
Not the
God,
reality
yeah.
back then. Truly,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even the reality right now.
I mean, it's getting there.
It's
It's
getting
getting
close.
It's not all the way there, but it's not all the way there. But it's getting there.
Well, it's the fact of
Hey,
at least the
hey,
seamy
what?
underbelly has been exposed now.
See, this
At
is the
least-
thing.
Because
Weinstein's not
it
even
started coming out. Hold on, Steve.
He
It
should
started
not be
coming.
let.
It started
Weinstein.
coming
Yeah.
out a few years
Yeah.
ago.
He should be in prison.
It started coming out big time a few years ago with people like Brian Singer being accused
Oh,
of
yeah.
pedophilia,
Man, that
you
so
know,
long
stuff like
ago,
that.
right?
And
Yeah.
of course,
like a-
there was the Corey Haim and the Corey Feldman stuff many years
Okay,
ago.
okay.
Still
Okay,
going
I feel-
on. He's under
I feel-
gag order,
yeah.
all kinds of things because of him
Well,
going to media
allegedly.
about
Right.
things with alleged stuff.
Dude, this is
But-
getting deep. I love this.
But you know, this
Yeah.
concept of children and women in Hollywood and in music being taken advantage of, used, people in general being
People in general, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there are guys that were put in the
Yeah.
same situation. Like
absolutely
the Me Too movement is a little bit more women centric because
yes.
traditionally women are paid less, they are listened to less.
That's
In
right.
board meetings, they are given less clout, but it is definitely still something that doesn't only affect women. There are certainly men that I mean, look at Kevin Spacey. Those are boys that he was taking advantage of. Those weren't
Absolutely.
little girls or women. That was young men
Boys and young men, absolutely.
who won't get their adolescence back.
Yeah, and you know, it's horrible stuff, and it's horrible things to think about it, and to know that it's almost among the regular
Yeah, I don't know anybody who hasn't had something. They're not all as dramatic, they're not all as extreme, but I don't know anybody who hasn't had at least one story of something that wasn't quite right or normal.
You know, quite honestly, and I can say that truly as far as knowing women as far as I do, and the number of women I do, and the number of girls I've worked with over the years as youth minister, things like that. Right up around the time that we graduated high school, that you graduated high school, I was already in college. That true hookup culture began. You know, where it was the making out for the sake of making out, whatever, that kind of thing.
I'm making out right now.
He's not. No making out now.
You know,
that was cool.
there became just this culture among things where it was and understood that something was going to happen. And I don't know. I guess I never understood the understood. You know, I was never one of those people that was like, oh, I have an expectation on what's going to happen on the night. I never really considered such things.
Ladies gonna go take a break.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's the main thing, Steve, is that we have to understand as men in this world, we have to understand as men in this society that there are certain things that tend to pressure women, that tend to put women into uncomfortable situations, that you know, are something that come kind of as a rite of passage to men, and it's horrifying. It's wrong. You know, to think of women as less than, to think of women as less smart than men, to think of with the culture of female as something as fully separate from man, and even to go as far as, like you were saying, being angry with Meryl Streep for not coming forward earlier. You can't step into the mind of the victim without having been a victim. That's not a point of empathy. You know, the point of empathy is the fact that
the only thing I could add. The only thing I could add to the Meryl Streep thing, which I don't hate her, but the thing is if she would have came out, she would have saved so many more that would have been subject to this, hopefully. And the thing is that
the problem is.
Yeah, that's the whole point that I'm getting at. That's the whole point I'm getting at.
The problem is the 20 years before now ain't now.
Right.
The 20 years before now ain't now, and to say that what she said, even if she said something back then, like Julie said, I mean,
we're always calling ifs now. Now that's
no.
if like if
no. There's
really
no ifs. There's no ifs, Stephen. Like, I can tell you right now, I've been hit on by people that I worked with.
You're talking about you. We're talking about Meryl Streep.
Doesn't matter.
If she would have,
Meryl Streep?
No, I'm coming very clean on a certain level.
The question is coming.
We were talking
forward.
Meryl Streep, not you.
No, what we were talking about is coming forward with information.
Very true. If Meryl Streep,
it doesn't matter if it's Meryl Streep, Julie Connolly, Chris Jordan, or Mary fucking
now it changed. No, you were out when you brought it forward.
The fact of it is coming forward with information, and when you come forward with information, and say so and so has done this, so and so has made this advance toward me,
exactly,
and nothing is done,
Yeah, it sucks.
What then? How many times do you go and say so and so made this advance toward me and nothing is done?
For me, it was 3, and then I stopped telling people.
And then
Really?
and then and then you
Seriously?
notice
That's wrong.
that, like, annual bonuses don't come around.
Yeah.
And then you notice that, like, maybe you ain't getting your, like, 3 obligated films from the studio a year.
You're right.
Yeah, you
Things
don't
like
know.
that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you
And
can't
it could
tell
be
the
me, it could be
victim
Meryl Streep,
story
it could be
without
Chris,
having
like-
been a victim.
Unfortunately,
I've been
even
a
Meryl
victim.
Streep is
I've
not
been a
immune
victim,
in the 80s.
unfortunately,
Every person
from
that
the
has a
opposite
complaint
side.
should be
From where
investigated and
there was a man
guaranteed
that was
if
interested
these
in
Of course
people
they should.
these people fucking did what they did, they need to be
Yeah.
and I believe
That's
I believe
great, but
people.
you can't
I'm
be
not against the
angry
people.
with
I'm
the
for the
victim.
I
people.
know.
I'm
You
a for the people.
cannot, Stephen.
I'm
you
for
can-
Roosevelt.
okay.
I think
I'm for
he's
these
just
people.
having an epiphany now.
You can't.
I'm not
you
having an
can't be
epiphany. I'm
angry
saying
with the
it's
victim.
an epiphany, meaning that we should have done this in 1980.
Yes.
Where the fuck were you fucking guys at? All
Yes,
I'm saying
that's
is
an
that I was
epiphany.
born in 1978, and that I'm no fucking Tesla, but I'm telling you, I'm here today, and that you fucking are doing the fucking world the fucking wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I do.
That's
I
what
do.
Yeah.
I'm fucking saying. That's the
Yeah.
fuck what I'm saying.
I
That's the
appreciate
fuck
it.
what I'm God. You know,
Well,
these women are saying these guys are doing certain things, and you know what? It's money backing them up. It's
Yeah.
bankers backing them up.
Thank you.
It's fucking people backing
It is.
them up.
It is.
That ain't fucking seeing justice.
Preach, Steve-O.
That's the fuck what I'm fucking talking about. Anyways, what we're
That's
talking
absolutely true. I'm not even. I would like. Quite honestly, folks.
about. I want these guys to go to justice.
Steve-O, I would like to deny any part of that tirade. Quite honestly. Quite honestly.
That tirade. I would like to record that tirade and have it my ringtone.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that tirade has just been recorded, Julie.
Oh, good. It's gonna be- just
Like,
give me that little bit, and I'll figure out how to make it
That
my ringtone.
tirade just went live over the internet. Are you joking?
Color, any
That
race, any
tirade
gender should
needs
not
to go
be
viral.
fucking disrespected. Any level.
Absolutely.
I get
Absolutely.
2 hours and 30 minutes into Dudes and Beer.
Any level. They should not be fucking disrespected genderly, sexually, any kind of way. That's the fucking way it should be. Let's live on this world prosperous. Let's fucking go together. Build, grow prosperous.
We lost.
Not like vandalize each other.
No, we should
Yeah.
not vandalize
Yeah.
each other.
We shouldn't.
Yeah.
I definitely think we should not vandalize each other. Could you, Julie? Could you imagine waking up with a random tattoo on your body? Like Waldo was here. Like,
Yes, I expect you all to listen.
I'm not gonna
okay,
graffiti
okay.
Julie while I'm
Just
here, okay?
now, granted, our listening audience is not on Skype with us, but raise your hand if you've been drunkenly vandalized.
Oh yeah, totally drawn on with a Sharpie, hundo
Yeah.
percento.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn,
Done.
really? I've never
yeah.
been, dude.
Oh,
all
yeah.
this fun.
Man.
Are y'all
Oh, yeah.
serious?
I will
Oh,
Sharpie you one.
Oh,
I
okay.
am, and I'm
So
not going to
I'll be-
deny, I am
okay.
a Sharpie
Feel
villain.
like it, I'll be-
I am a
Yeah.
Sharpie
I'm in it.
villain.
Cat whiskers.
Oh, it
See.
goes beyond whiskers. We have pictures that are horrifying.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
He goes, we're gonna go beyond that.
Yeah, I have pictures that are horrifying of people I've vandalized.
I really want to see those.
But you know, the idea of, like we were saying earlier, the digitization of society, the fact that things like #MeToo has utterly taken over the meme of society right now, has totally brought forth this wave of awareness, this wave of being woke to something that many people have said for years, but not many people have believed.
Right.
is such an amazing
I
thing.
guess Me Too is a hashtag of or whatever Me Too is on itself is bringing out what was already there, but it's bringing it out now to the masses on a level, you know.
Well, I think it's
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
It's making
Yeah.
it tangible. And
exactly. Because it was already there.
throwing it in people's faces, and we needed that
Right.
so
Yes.
much, because if things don't happen on a massive
Right.
scale at this point in society, because everything is massive and global
That's
and
just
immediate,
like
that
we're
it had to be this, because all the last 20 years of like individual cases got fucking nowhere. By 20 years, I of course mean like 200 years. That
well, and
we
that's
needed
just
this
it.
because
Like
people's attention like is all consuming.
you
we
went
needed
to
things all consuming.
you went to the same university that I did, Julie. You had the same education that I did, minus a year or so.
Except I
You know,
finished.
What?
but
Yeah.
it's all right. You
Yeah,
finished.
yeah, that's
I went to
right.
school for 8 years. Yeah, should have been a doctor. But the fact is,
Tommy boy.
we were taught this concept of history. We were taught to look at things through a lens of history, and even with what you were just saying, to look at the concept of humanity, to look at where we are as people with what's come out with hashtag Me Too in the last month and a half. The amount of awakening that's happening, the ripple that's happened,
I love it.
it's
palpable.
a beautiful, amazing thing, and it's something that like our society, I don't know necessarily is ready for.
We're ready,
But-
man. We are ready.
Oh, no, like that's the thing.
51% of us who
Yes.
are women are ready.
Ready. Yes. Yes. The question is the other like 39%, 35%.
Figure it out, fucks.
Hey,
Get on
hey,
board.
I'm just here to tell you there's a lot of dudes that are just dude bro. You know?
No, there's a lot
They ain't cool, bro.
of people out there
They
who
ain't
are like,
cool
"Where's
bros.
the
They're
proof?
just dude
Where's
bros."
The proof? Where's the
I got a
proof?"
phone,
And it's
dude.
like-
What's up, dude?
But you know what? They are becoming irrelevant, which is
Exactly.
wonderful, because
It's a
they
beautiful,
had
amazing
the power and they don't anymore.
got a
Yes.
phone,
Or
bro.
if they do, it is diminishing, and that's awesome. And the
Yeah.
takeaway is that they should keep losing their power, and that
Yes.
things should keep moving forward towards equality, and people should keep listening and believing people, all people, women, trans
Yes.
people, men,
No.
everybody,
No.
people of color, everybody, listen to them, believe their experiences,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and try to make it a palatable planet for all of us to live on. I mean,
Well, that's
just
just
believe
it. It's got to be
people
a
and
shared
listen to people.
experience.
it
and-
doesn't have to be like,
Doesn't
oh,
for
I'm mad
change.
because if this happened to my daughter, I'd be pissed. Like,
Right.
no. Be mad because it happened to.
Somebody's
kid.
daughter.
Be mad because it doesn't have to be somebody's daughter. We could all be fucking
If it was my
robots
daughter, I'd
Yeah.
kill
who are
somebody.
sentient. We could all be sentient robots.
I can't even
And it
imagine
shouldn't
that.
matter
Thank God I'm not
Be
because
in
it
that.
mad
to
because
be
it happened to a
somebody.
fellow human being.
Anybody.
Can
yeah,
you imagine
just
that,
be
Chris?
mad
I'll be
because it
killing somebody,
happened.
Chris.
Yeah.
I'll be
Well,
killing
and-
somebody.
You know, what's interesting is
I'll be
the
killing.
book that
But-
I've been reading.
Your
Fuck that.
daughter may not tell because
True. Yeah,
society
she'll-
has kind of
Yeah,
told them not
and she
to.
knows
The
like
book
not
that
to
I've been
that heel
reading-
off on the chain.
Yep.
The
Yep.
book that I've been reading
will
over the
wait,
last couple
wait.
days by the author that I'm hoping to have on, Jim Blasingame, The Third Ingredient, The Journey of Analog Ethics into the World of Digital Fear and Greed.
Don't be making shit up. That
the-
sounds fake.
I'm not even lying. This is a great book. And this is the forward part
That's
from
Steve-O, sorry.
episode or
Retract that.
chapter 1 in the book. And it's from the I Ching, which, as Julie knows, is and many of our listeners know, is
yes.
thousands
Fucking
and thousands
the
of
chain.
years old. But this
Dude,
is
you can't get with the
exactly
icing. Yeah.
this is exactly what we're talking about.
Oh,
if
Jesus Christ. I've got the
No.
iTunes somewhere
No, it's not about Jesus Christ. It's about the I Ching. So
no,
check it out.
Yeah.
If the increase and gain of this time are to be great, they must benefit others as well as yourself.
That's a beautiful statement. That's
totally.
a beautiful statement.
And that's as simplest as it gets. It's the fact that it can't just be about yourself. It's got to
simplicity. It's right there. If you always kind of like either ignore it or just like something, it's like it's right there.
People have always kind of just made it about themselves,
Yeah,
like, oh, what's greater for me and what's greater for you is not always what's greater for everybody else. Yeah. But I think hopefully we're getting to the point where we can see that if it's actually not greater for your neighbor, then it's actually not greater for mankind.
Exactly. That's just it, Julie, is the fact that we as people need to learn to understand that we have to have a greater concept. We have to have a wider view. We have to have a more encompassing understanding of the world around us and our impact in the world around us. And until next time, everybody, please make sure to tune in to the Dudes and Beer podcast. You can find us on the HC Universal Network.
To this episode
and
of the
until
Dudes and Beer
next time,
podcast.
Everybody, if
to
you can't be good,
streams and
be
good.
That
Dudes
means
and Beer
no.
app for both Android and iDevices.
No means no.
On the Google Play and iTunes markets. For more episodes, content, and information, visit us online at dudesandbeer.com. You can also find our episodes on Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast service. Thanks for listening, everybody, and until next time, drink responsibly.